welcome to the Flory Models live show. Here we are with you on Saturday evening, 7 o'clock on the 20th of June 2020. And how are we all doing?
Very well.
Very well.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Cosmic, well done everybody. Well, we've all had a busy day today. Personally, this morning I was doing, cleaning up the house. I was left a small sort of note from the other half saying when she comes back she'd like to see the kitchen table again. So I did that this morning, got them cleared, sanders put away, wash is all in soak, dark dirt is soaking away, doing its bits and pieces, so that'll get bottled on Monday and then obviously be for sale probably Monday night. I'll put it on the site, something else for Tuesday, so that's all good. I had a visitor, didn't I, John?
You did.
So John popped down and we socially distanced, because just the way we walk. So John popped down as well this afternoon for a bit, so we had a bit of a chinwag and a catch up and everything, which is the first time we've seen each other since
Telford.
No, since the Monday before I went away.
Yeah,
Because Andy and Matt came down, wasn't it? We went for our big breakfast.
we had our dirty breakfast,
Oh, that
didn't
was
we?
it.
Yeah.
God, blimey,
Oh, yeah, beginning of March.
There you go.
Wasn't
A
it?
while ago.
Bloody hell. Yeah.
Yes. So yes, so that was quite a long time ago. But anyway, nice to have a good catch up in that. John's taken away some of the stuff we've had down here for him, so we expect some fantastic builds in the near future. Expect to start that Hind tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll be looking at it.
Well, I say the Alpha Jet looks particularly tasty, I must admit. Those markings, we were discussing them, and yeah, they look very, very nice indeed.
Yeah, that's going to be flashy, that, with that done.
Very nice indeed. Anyway, Matt, you were off to see your mum today.
I have. I've been off this morning with me and Lydia to see my mother, which is the first time I've seen her since birthday on the 18th of Jan.
There you go.
So that was, nice.
She only lives 4 doors up.
Yeah, exactly. But, so that was nice, and rescued my old Lego for Lydia from the loft.
Oh, bless.
Oh, you ought to see what I found in the actual tub. It's in like a big old plastic barrel stuff. Besides, obviously, the dead insects and everything else that are in the bottom, there's bits of a Lancaster in there and some small plastic soldiers and an old breakaway packet.
Crikey.
Like the art of...
Right, sorry. Hold on. We've got an echo. Try that, guys.
Oh, he's done it again.
So I've just turned it off, so that should cure the problem with the echo. Is anyone
Start
watching?
again.
Start again. See, no one in our
Start
chat's
again.
mentioned it. They're just used to it. That's the difference. Our lot are used to it. Theirs aren't.
Yeah, it's better now. Arthur says better, Rob says better.
There you go. Sorry, that was me yesterday. When I did this weird. It's as funny as it sounds. As you might have noticed, the way I rushed the last couple of words from the show yesterday, I actually did it as a live stream, but didn't stream it live. I then put it up afterwards. So the lip sync works. I know how it does it now. It's just if I do my lip sync, so my lip sync's fine now, they go out of sync. I don't know how it all works. It's all smoke and mirrors and unicorn bits. But yes, sorry. Anyway, you were saying in your tub, you found your stuff.
Yeah, and old model parts and other stuff from back in the 80s. So,
We're going to show you quality.
oh yeah, the other thing I found. Yeah, actually, I ain't got a connector to rig it up, so I can't test it. I need.
Oh,
That's what you said last time.
yeah, you said
No,
that
I
last
really
time.
haven't. I have looked.
Look at that.
This thing.
External mixing.
It's crap. It's crap, but I really want to get it going. But I haven't got because it's got such a look at the state of it.
Yeah,
State of that.
Small standard badger one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got nothing to connect it to the. I need what you've got, them canister things.
Hmm.
But it's all there. Look at a little jar.
Yeah, look.
But what I can't understand is why it's got a bit of what was left of a pot rivet.
Okay.
The jar.
What? I don't understand. This has got to be my father who's been doing something in that, honestly, because that's not me. And then it's still got instructions and everything. Look.
It's probably a collector's item now, that. Has he got a date on it anywhere?
I don't know. I don't think so. I've got stuff. What's this? Guarantee, is it? Oh look, some.
Is it still valid?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm going to send it back to Hobbyco because they badge you, don't they? Hobby Industries, 24 Ronson Drive, Ontario.
Oh.
So
They're
from
still
Canada. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so I can't test it tonight because obviously, like I say, I've got nothing to connect it up with. So shame, because I was going to see if I could get it working.
Rob Wood says, now I don't know if he's joking or not. He says there was one on eBay last year for 150 quid.
I
Right,
don't
you
think
put it back in that box very carefully.
it's still in its box. I have to get a quick clean. Without propellant can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, God knows. But yeah.
On a similar note to Matt, I had to do a loft clear out this morning under instructions from the boss, and I've got some classics as well.
Is that what you call them?
Yeah, is that classic
Yeah.
or crap? Oh, look, frog.
Right.
Can it?
Look, a
You've got to build
wyvern.
these.
Wyvern even. I've got no. There's the frog gannet.
Oh God! In the proper box as well.
Yeah.
A Novo Firefly.
So that's frog.
Yeah.
Oh God, I built that kit. Oh, that's the one where the pilot's just the head of the pilot, isn't it? With the two.
Yeah. Gets even better. Look, bags.
Oh, look, bag frog kit.
Get bidding, boys. Get bidding, boys and girls. They're up for sale.
I think this is the Novo kit, but it's Cornwall Aero Park.
Who?
That's Flambards, isn't it?
Flambards. I must have got that from Flambards.
Yeah.
God, I bet that's really.
Blackburn Skewer.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the Piece de Resistance Rare Planes.
A vac
Is that
form.
vac form? Yeah.
Sea Fang.
Yes, that's one for Nathan.
And an A model Blackburn Firebrand.
Ooh.
Just that figure then. I take it you liked Navy aircraft, fleet air arm stuff.
I did a while back, yeah. But
Then he defected.
Yeah, to the other side.
yeah, to be honest, I forgot I had them up there.
And what else is up there, John? You're not showing all of it, are you?
Yeah, go on. I want to see you do. I reckon you should do the Sea Harrier.
I think you should as well.
I've got 2 Airfix boxings there.
God.
Ooh, proper 80s.
Yeah, proper crap. That's a good kit.
That's a good kit. That's actually
That
a
is-
really good kit. And again, they were going for mega bucks in the sort of late 2000s.
They were going up until Airfix released theirs.
It was, yeah. That was the one to get.
That's only a few years ago.
And then I got this bad boy. But this might be going up on an auction at some point.
What about the rest of them? You keeping them then?
These ones, yeah, I'll keep, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
Just in case.
I don't expect they're worth a lot, are they?
Depends what somebody wants to pay for them. That gannet in that, what was it? Where was it from? The blue gannet in the bag?
Helston.
that one.
That's from
Where I
Flambards.
thought, yeah.
Used to be Flambards Aero Park. It's
Right.
right at the end of the runway at Coldrose. RNS Coldrose.
Right.
That's got to be an original boxing, I would think.
One of the originals.
And the Wyvern.
John says they're all perfect for COVID-20 next year.
Yeah. COVID 21.
Yeah.
When we're all in
Maybe-
lockdown
maybe
again with
like
the second
Road
wave.
next triangle. So yeah,
You
So
could have
that'd be
built one of them.
interesting. 40p on that one.
Jesus, you paid that much. Mind you, when John was a lad, that was a lot of money.
It was. Oh, and I've got my big Fujimi Tomcat as well.
What scale was that?
48.
48.
I never knew they did a 48 Tomcat.
Nor did I till he said. I must admit, I didn't know that
Is it
either.
recessed in that?
It's mixed media.
Yep.
Oh,
On there. And it.
He takes his glasses off to make it look better.
Yeah, have we worked out? Is it recessed or what?
It's both recessed and
Please.
raised.
Ooh.
Okay.
All around the exhaust and air brake, and that's recessed, but the panel lines look raised.
Oh, brilliant.
Is it finely recessed or is it trenches?
It's not bad for how old it must be. I can't see a year on it, but
Somebody will scale mate it and let us know.
so I don't know whether that's worth anything.
No. Where's the Jackal and the Land Rovers?
No, they're up here. They're up here.
Oh, right, okay.
I think that was a Christmas present from the kids.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, the guys there, they said about the basic airbrush set, it's only 20 quid. Yeah, but that's the new boxing. If you want the classic boxing, so that's a lot more money. That's an original. That's a collector's item.
Hey, model number 250.
That's the one. Everyone's made that because Humbrol knocked one of them out as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all
I'm
the
sure it was a
same.
Humbrol one I had.
Yeah, I had the Humbrol one. Truly, truly awful.
Yeah.
You can't do it with them. They've got no control rope, have they? It's just...
Yeah. Yeah, it just floods it on. That's your lot.
External mix bottom feed spray gun. Single action. When the trigger is depressed, a set amount of paint is sprayed. A set amount, yeah.
Set amount, yeah. You get the lot.
Yeah, all of it.
Turn on the taps.
And Jamie says he's built the Airfix Phantom and he'd rather build the Fujimi one.
I
Don't suppose this comes with air refueling, does it?
Has it got lots of stencils? Hey, that's a good point, John.
That's the decal sheet.
I've built that kit. I've physically built that exact kit.
No, it doesn't look it's got the refueling probe on it. Because that would have been handy if it had.
Just thingy one from Airfix. Came to us with Airfix spare parts.
Yeah.
Wrapped it up.
Just a quick one there to Mike. These are A2 cutting mats.
Yeah. And they're like entity to get hold of at the minute because I need a new one and I can't find any.
Are they? I've got a load here.
I'll bring one up then.
Yeah, they're all a bit got funny things like, you know, bits of melted.
Oh no. I need a brand new one. Spotless.
I usually keep one immaculate for doing the reviews, and then I forget, and then I tip something on it, and it's like, oh, there you go, gone again. Yes.
Chris says, "What's Phil drinking?" I think he's been drinking.
So I was just about to say. So thank you to John when he came down. He brought me some of our local beverage, Sheppy's cider. So this is a proper vintage, 2019. It was a good season for apples. Yeah, 7.4%. I have to say, if anybody likes your cider and you're used to drinking things like sparkly ones, you need to try something a bit more with body, shall we say, a proper cider.
Not full of gas.
Yeah, you don't want it gassy. You get a bit of fizz when you first pour them, but yes, they are. Hold on, I've got a bottle opener here somewhere.
No,
They are.
Those ones are a bit fizzier. They're not like flat like the flagons I get.
Oh yeah, that's it. If you get the actual proper one with sediment, it's a bit different.
Chris says yes, he has been drinking.
Is that to add a bit of like preserve so it don't go off as fast? Is that the science behind adding all the carbon?
Shit, I can't get in my bottle openers. Crap. I have to get another one. I won't do it on my desk. Hold on.
Can't even get in his bottle up. So, how's your day been, Andy?
Busy.
Now tell the truth.
Busier than tomorrow.
Yeah.
Over to the west wing.
Jamie says that's me talking about booze when I'm out here.
God,
No,
yeah.
don't give me that. We all know it's available. You need to see the right shake.
Compressor's kicked in.
Quiet, hush, quiet.
There we go.
That's actually really quite quiet.
Is it?
It's still going though.
That's the only problem, because it's a big tank, it takes longer to as well.
Exactly. Why is it still? Is it still leaking?
Yeah, I've not done it, I've not touched it.
We should put some PTFE tape around it, for God's sake.
It's the airline that's leaking, isn't it?
I've got some PTFE tape here. Just not done it.
You could do it live on the show.
They're ready, waiting to go on.
Speaking of which, you know my drippy tap? I fixed it. I watched the man on YouTube show me how to like get it out.
Hey.
I was going to say, what did you do? Turn your water off?
So, well, that's what I've been doing. Because every morning I come down, I end up with a washing up bowl full of water. So at night I've been doing it like Nathan recently, turning the stopcock off. So that was it. But it's a bit of a thing when you get up in the night and want to go to the loo. But anyway, so I've got the bit, ordered it off Amazon, turned up next day, and then I had to fight with it to get it in. But we're okay. I'm now a qualified palmer. My mixer tap's fixed, so that's it. Which was going to be easier than putting in a new tap.
Yeah.
So yes, we're
John
all
will
good.
vouch for that, won't you, John?
Yeah.
So, yes.
Right, okay, so good evening to everybody who is in the different chats. They're all on today. So we've got a load of you. Hold on, let me turn on. There we go. Lots of you obviously in Flory chat. Good evening to everybody who's down in there. And good evening to everybody in YouTube land as well. Lots of you obviously all in there as well. So we've got a few questions as well, but obviously we don't tend to do many questions. It's normally talking rubbish. Getting drunk.
Yeah.
Breaking models. That Saturday night show. So
Might as well do a bit of modelling.
Yeah, so it's pretty impartial and all the rest of it. So just feel free to chirp up with anything, any gossip, anything else like that. We'll just start Wing Nut Wings now, shall we? Because that's what everyone's going to talk about, isn't it?
Just get it out of the way and just mention the Fokker.
For guys who don't know, Nathan put up some photos that he took of the Fokker, Wing Nut Wings Fokker, from Telford last year, and he took some detailed sprue shots. And then we've just compared them now to the new Meng kit, and it is it. So all the people that said they would never rebox and they would never get rid of the moulds, well, it looks like they have. So yeah, that's a bit left field.
To be fair though, Wing Nut Wings never got to release it, did they?
No.
So, do you think it's payment?
Well, again, we've always thought somewhat, haven't we, that Meng used to do their tooling and moulding, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know if this clarifies that, but we always had an inkling that that's what was going on anyway. So it may be that's what the tie-in was between Meng and Wing Nut Wings. But again, it was one of those ones that seemed a bit funny when it first got mentioned. And to be honest, I was a little bit sceptical. And then Nathan got out the photos, wouldn't it? And he was like, "It is. Look, it's exactly the same." So there you go. You heard it here first. So you might see a front end of a Lancaster after all. Because me and Matt reckon they're just going to do the front end.
We said that last night, didn't we?
We did.
We said it wouldn't be a bad idea if that was to... I mean, if they was going to do it, they wouldn't release the big one, because it's not what they do, but the front end would definitely be a seller, wouldn't it? So, be nice. Be definitely nice.
Nigel says, watch out for a Meng 32nd Lank in the future.
Nah.
Yeah, I'd say it's not Meng's thing. I don't think they do it, but I wouldn't put it past Meng to do the front end though, as you say. I think
That's feasible.
it's a good smart move if you wanted to do that. I think it would really work.
Yep, I agree. Yes.
Does Phil have a wife? No, Phil doesn't have a wife. He did have a wife, but luckily I got divorced. Yeah. 12, 13.
Wait, Phil, was that a wife or a life?
Yeah, a life. Yes, that's it.
Yes, neither.
Yes, no, that one wife went 14 years ago. So yes.
The rest of us do.
Yes, the rest of them do. Bless them.
That's why we look haggard and.
Yeah. Grey old.
As you can see, John and Andy have been married a lot longer than Matt. Just by
That's
the
what we're doing,
hairline.
isn't off sheds every night.
Yeah.
Two Head said you guys should try one of the basic airbrushes. That's the plan. Matt's going to do a live demo, being a professional airbrusher as he is, of how you use one of these, and especially doing fine line camo and mottling with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can't wait for that.
Figure painting with it.
Figure painting, yeah. I tell you what, I wouldn't use it to paint my fence. That crap.
I did want to buy the cheap. See if we could get the cheapest double action airbrush out of Amazon.
I've got them, mate. They're in
Oh,
the
yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
And
I can get them to work. To be honest.
To be honest, like we said, I've been sent over the years many cheap crap stuff, as you can imagine, and I've used them as well, and they always work. They will atomize
Not a
paint
lot.
and they will paint. There's never a problem with them. It's just that they don't last very long because of usually it's cheap materials inside them and they just wear out.
Yeah.
You know, rubber O-rings don't help when you put lacquer thinners through them and you wonder why you can't turn the thing off. It's because it's all swollen up and gooed up inside. So, yes. So that's the trouble with cheap airbrushes. They just don't last at the end of the day. You know, you buy a bit of quality stuff, it lasts, but that's definitely something where you can go cheap and it will work, don't get me wrong, but they don't last. That's the problem.
It's funny, I was looking at airbrushes today, this afternoon.
Oh yeah, getting an itch.
Yeah, I am actually.
What were you looking at?
Just on general, actually. I haven't been on eBay for ages, and I was just looking for. Just having a look for airbrushes. To be honest, there's a nice Iwata on there. But you know,
Is there?
yes, an HPC, the one, the expensive one, to be honest.
CH?
Yeah, one of them.
How much is that on there for?
Can't tell you, secret.
That's what I've got, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. You ain't got a Mac valve on yours, have you?
No.
No, this one's got the Mac valve. This is the one. John's got one, ain't you?
Rob Woods
Oh,
says
yeah.
he just started his 32nd F16. Thanks for supplying it, Matt.
That's all right. No worries.
Yeah.
I thought he was waiting for Father's Day or something.
I don't know.
Or was it his birthday?
I don't know.
Mine's the HPCS.
Yeah, that's what I've got. And very nice it is too.
Oh yeah, no, it's nice. But yeah, I haven't got a Mac valve. Needs a Mac valve.
To be honest, I fancy trying a Pash.
A Pache.
Pache. A Pache. Well, what was the other one I was looking at? Oh god. Begins with G.
Grex?
Yeah.
A Grex.
yeah,
That's the one. A
Grex ones.
What are they? Well, I know they're airbrushes, but
They're mainly artist ones, aren't they?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, I used to do those with Little Cars when Little Cars got them years ago when I used to work with them.
Right.
And, yeah. I always had the impression they're more artists' airbrushes than general airbrushes
Yeah.
Right.
because they've got
Anyway,
very,
Matt,
very
how
fine
many
control.
airbrushes have you got?
I don't know. But that's not the point.
Not as many as he's got shoes.
Double figures?
What, for airbrushes? No, I don't think so.
Got a
No.
lot. Oh,
So what gives you the impression these Grex ones are more artistes ones?
Because they've got very, very fine controls on them, which are probably too fine for normal paint. It's more for inks, I am under the impression.
Yeah, but then if you're spraying lacquers, which are like ink, surely they're going to work really well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they would. Yeah, absolutely.
There's
Yeah.
one on with like a lime green sort of. You've got the airbrush and it's got this where you hold it. You know, for
Yeah.
it's like a lime green sort of
Yeah, Grex.
moulding on it. It is a Grex one, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I've done reviews of them and stuff like that. But if you go right back in history, when they first came out, I had them all here. I did the lot.
yeah.
And, you know, again, they're very comfortable. They do very ergonomic grips as well, left and right-handed.
All right. Okay.
So, yeah, you can buy a left-handed one or a right-handed one, so forth and so on with them.
All right. So where are they made? Do you know?
I can't remember now. It's a long time ago now. It's over sort of 15 years ago now. But they were nice bits of kit. Don't get me wrong. They were sort of the new boy on the town back then.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Paul at Little Cars gave me some to play with just to see what they were like, and I played with. I had about 3 or 4 different ones for a while, and I had to play with them and got on and said they're fine, they're great, do atomised paint and all the rest of it. But I was just under the impression I think they're more artist related, purely because they've got a lot of fine controls on the more expensive ones and things like that, which you probably wouldn't use.
Right. What they're like for.
I'll tell you what they do. We often talk about the trigger ones, because obviously some of them have got the trigger system on them. They're very nice.
Ah. What like that?
Yeah.
By the looks of it, they're American.
I think they are.
Yeah, I'm tempted to get a trigger one like that.
It's for sale, John. Do you want it?
They do one where you can put a fan head on as well, don't they, Procon?
I don't know. No idea. This is a 0.3. Don't know.
Anyway, now you've got that Badger and you've got your Aztec. Why do you want another one? I mean, that's all you need.
Yeah, I just want. Hey, I tell you what, I was looking at actually.
Why does he need 40 pairs of shoes? But he's got them.
Yeah. 1 pair of feet. It was on about this weeks and weeks ago, but an old DeVille Bis Sprite.
Yeah.
Is one of them a vintage, and I want an old airbrush.
Right.
To see how they compare to a new airbrush. So I was actually looking for a vintage airbrush as well.
But again, aren't we still back to that thing? Like I always say, all it does is atomise paint.
Yeah.
And they've done that since like the first one.
Yeah.
So really, nothing's really changed, did they?
Progression. Well, not in the theory of art itself, but there must be some progression. But I'd just like to see.
Is that a bit like saying a paintbrush?
Well,
Because now you get obviously synthetics and different fibres and that, but everyone still loves squirrel. Or sable.
Sable. That's horsehair, isn't it?
But that's the thing though, isn't it? No one's really invented a paintbrush that's better than one that was probably invented 1 million years ago, It's weird how it works, and it's a bit like paint, because we've often joked about, we've yet to see it yet, that Harder and Steenbeck were allegedly designed a revolutionary new type of airbrush that we've never seen before. So I basically said jokingly, so it's going to atomise paint. I think that's been done before. If it doesn't, it's not an airbrush. And but anyway, we haven't seen it yet. I don't know what happened to it. It's supposed to have been out last year. But they promised to send me one to have a play with, but I've never seen it. So
it'll probably be this Badger.
Yeah, that's it. It'll be like that Aztec you had.
Chris says, hang on, a man with 40 pairs of shoes. All you need is trainers, flip-flops, and a smart pair of shoes.
That's what I've got. Just 10 pair of each.
He's just got them in every colour.
Including pastels.
Yes.
Don't knock the pastels. Ever.
John, I wouldn't build apparently the Fujiyama 48 scale Tomcat's awful. They were saying it's amazing. The 72nd one's lovely and beautiful kit, which I'll vouch for. It is a good kit. I've built that. But the 48th one's horrible.
To be honest, I was thinking this afternoon when I was looking at it, I haven't got a Buster.
Oh, could that be your Buster? To be honest, you need a Corsair for a Buster. It's an ideal shape because you can hold it in your hand like that.
I could do with it, as the Americans say, a bit of a paint mule, because I haven't got one.
Well, why don't you chuck together your area? Then you've got a big area to practice on and mess it up.
So yeah, I might do it for that.
Oh, right, okay. You won't be able to do that. You will not be able to do that. You'll get full in onto that build.
Have you got something kicking around that's a little bit knackered and you can just turn it into a Buster?
Yeah, that MI24 behind him on shelf.
Yeah, that's too small though, isn't it?
No, the one behind you, John, the other way.
Oh, what?
Look up.
Huh? Well, that one.
No.
Huh?
Move along a bit. Move along a bit.
What, the 35th scale one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that crap kit. It's a crap
Oh,
kit.
yeah, right. That's my pride and joy.
So it'll never be built.
Probably.
Hey, why don't you use your mainstay?
No.
You did. You could.
No,
use
you
the
need something
bloody
old and
radars.
crappy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something you chuck a coat of primer over it and then just start again.
Yeah.
What's your Buster, Matt?
My Buster, to be honest now, is a Hawkeye. But it could
Oh,
be
that 72nd one.
yeah, because that's never going to get finished. But after looking at the seam lines on that destroyer, that B66, it might turn into that.
This is mine.
Oh, the Hellcat from Edward.
Yeah, he's done a lot of work with that, thinking about it. Look, that's why it's multicoloured underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, at the moment, I've just got a sheet of plastic card, but it's not the same.
No.
No, you need something with a bit of curve and a bit of texture to it
Yeah.
as well. It's a bit more realistic than doing it just on a flat piece.
You'd have to just chuck something together then, John. Something like a Fujimi Tomcat.
That.
Well, why don't you build it now while we're sat here talking? Just sling it together.
Pop it together, absolutely. Answer the question. This is the HK models. B17. Unbuildable, apparently. Just saying. I beg to differ. I have to say, not that it would be my kit of the year, but it's nothing wrong with this kit whatsoever. Just saying. Very, very nice. Gone together beautifully. Soon to be very silvery. Probably Monday or Tuesday.
I do like the look of that Tamiya lacquer paint as well.
Yes, John was in awe of that. He wants lots of it. LP1. Loads of people have asked me on Instagram about what is it and has it been polished? No, it hasn't been anything. It's just had a coat of LP1. That was it. So
John, everybody wants LP1.
But unfortunately, it's a bit like hen's teeth.
Yeah. I bet if you had a joy, you could proper sell it for a lot of money.
Yeah. Hopefully, though, they won't be long out of stock and we'll get them back in and all the rest of it. Put me down for a box when they come in.
Well, I would say hopefully they'll be in next week. I'll find out on Monday, Tuesday. I'll ring up and see what's arrived on this container. I don't know. I think they've got 2 containers, but I think they've got one Monday and one Tuesday coming in. But don't know what's on it. Hopefully some paint. Like I say, paint and glue would be lovely.
Rob Wood's got a good question.
Yes, he has.
Go on then.
Go on, Andy.
Has Matt started his Mac 2 kit yet?
No. I've been diorama. Look, building.
You were starting your Mac 2 kit at the same time as Phil.
I was, but Phil's just
He's finished this.
proper steam dead.
You can't blame Phil for steaming ahead. It's you for lack of.
Oh.
Plus, as well, I had a Sherman to finish. You also want to finish that group build.
An elephant walks across the road and.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
No, he's all right. Look, we're on the downhill stretch now. Light at the end of the tunnel. Get this together next week. Now all the crap's
Yeah,
done.
Bob. He's going to finish the Bison first, then he'll start on the Argosy.
That's it. So, it's all finished in my head. It's all done. It's immaculate. It's absolute winner in class.
I know the B17 isn't the 32nd one. That's the 48 scale one. So, yes, the 32nd one must be. Well, I don't know. How big is it? I have seen it. It's
big.
That seems big though. 48, didn't it? Because that's 48 scale.
Yeah, so it'd be a wing and a half. Well, wing and a fuselage bigger, won't it?
Yeah.
But that's 48 scale, but the 72nd VC10 dwarfs it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is when you do it like that. Yeah, 48 scale B17, 72nd is still bigger. The wingspan will be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So, yes. Then after that, I'm building something very small, like a 1/4 scale MiG-21. Two Heads Talking says the HPCH is nice. He's using one now. I too like it. It's a really, really nice. It's got one of the nicest triggers out of any airbrush I've ever used. Proper nice. And this is the one that's got the floating nozzle as well. So if you do end up breaking it, then you've only got to just whip the end off. Then you can go again.
Is that the one I've used in yours, Matt, where we shoot the thing across the room?
No, that's the Badger Renegade Pro. I've got it here actually, it's behind me. I tell you what, the price of that Iwater airbrushes is, there's one for like 500 quid.
I know, they are horrendous.
Jesus, I'm like, because I don't really look for, you know, obviously if we can get the Procons or whatever, so I don't really take much notice of Iwater airbrushes.
That's probably the custom Micron.
It was the top of the
Which
range.
is what the PS 770 is.
Bloody hell, like 500 quid. Jeez, that's a chunk of money to invest in an airbrush, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So.
Telescopic whatever says, Phil, did you get my thing about the the hairy stick brushes? I did. To be honest, it's a bit wasted on me because I'm just an animal when it comes to brushes. But basically, we're saying about you cut off some of the hairs and it holds paint better. The rest of it, I did see it. But say me and brush painting, it's necessity rather than nicety with me. So I just put paint down with them. I'm a bit of an animal when it comes to brushes. That's why I tend to buy cheap, because I'm just bad with them. And,
show them your best brush, Phil.
We can.
To be honest, I threw some out the other day because they were a little bit, you know. But
when Phil walks down the aisle with paintbrushes, you can see the brushes start quivering, don't they?
Yeah.
No, please, no.
to be honest, the one that I have is my usual joke because it's literally like 90 degrees. It's for painting around corners. I did throw it out the other day. So, but yeah, I must admit, I am terrible to brushes. I know a lot, you know, you can buy expensive ones and do that. And I have got some nicer ones over there. And the reason they're over there and out of reach is because I don't use them, because they're far too nice to use. They're a bit more expensive ones and stuff. So, yeah. Occasionally, though, it does catch me because what was I working on? I was working on something the other week and I could do with a decent brush. As stupid as it sounds, because I was trying to do some small painting and it was, I think it was when I was doing the pilot figure. And I was trying to do, and it was like, yeah, this paintbrush has got freaking hairs coming out and everywhere. It's like trying to paint with a palm tree. So, yeah, times like that. Then I reached for a decent one, and I did clean it afterwards and put it back. So, but day to day, I'm not really a hand painter. I tend to airbrush everything. So, what do we got? Right, sorry, there we go. Yeah, this guy's talking about Grex being North American. Apparently, Grex, Badger, Pache, all made in the upper Midwest, US.
What, out the same factory?
Probably, yeah.
Just different manufacturer on them.
Apparently a 0.5 needle and a fan head. Okay.
Right, okay.
So what's a fan head do? Just spreads it out, does it? So it's a bit
Yeah,
like
it's
painting a
rather
fence?
than a cone.
Yeah, it's more of a flat.
Straight, and it's like what you'd use, Matt, innit? It's
Yeah,
that shape, innit?
yeah.
So it's good for like
Big coverage.
Yeah,
Big
so it's a
coverage,
wide
large
coverage.
coverage,
It's great for
just
painting your
different-
fence.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I think the only thing you got to watch out for with them is that your compressor's man enough for them, innit?
Why, do you use a lot of air?
What, on an airbrush?
Yeah, even on an airbrush.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, yeah, you got to make sure your compressor has got enough oomph in it to.
What, on a fan spray?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Good. No, don't know. So what needle do they
Because
use?
they generally have bigger needles, don't they?
I was
there's
going to
more
say,
paint
what
there.
size needles do they use then?
Well, I think the Procon one that you can get is something like a 0.5.
Yeah, they were saying up here about one up there about the 0.5.
So you're looking at RC stuff with that then, aren't you? If you're painting RC body shells and, you know, for this type of thing, or aircraft.
Ship hulls and things, or...
Yeah. For bigger jobs then, innit?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I do it because if you just look at my stash, what I got, there's a hell of a lot of big stuff in there. And to go at it with a 0.2 needle,
Yes.
I'll be here for a month for Sundays.
Yeah, it is a good point.
Ian says
Correct.
flat earthers believe that HNS Iwata bought HNS to take the technology that the aliens gave them. The full story to that actually is that amazingly Iwata don't have an R&D department, which seems mad, but apparently they don't, not at all. So half the reason whilst they did buy HNS is because HNS has got a very extensive research and development department with lots of stuff going on in it, so it was an easy way of them doing it. But again, it was another way of bringing another range of airbrushes into the US market without Iwata bringing them in, if you know what I mean. Because obviously if Iwata are bringing in airbrushes, it seems to be they're covering everything, but they can bring another one in separately under a different name, so that's why they've also kept the name obviously as being HNS. So HNS are trying to break into the US market.
Yes.
That's it.
Just to our North American and whatever friends on the thing, is Pache quite big out there then for them? If you could shout up in chat.
Shout up in chat.
Because obviously then it's not very big over here, is it, as an airbrush? I don't think it ever has been.
Yeah, I think
Badger's been here since the year dot, hasn't it? And obviously HNS came over. Iwata's been around for a long time, and De Vilbis used to be quite a big player in the airbrush game way back when.
Yeah.
Pache was not really
Badger, yeah, they're big American.
Yeah, but I'm saying the Pache were really big over here where Badger has been, hasn't it? Because obviously Obico's the importer of Badger over here, but I don't even know if there is one for Pache airbrushes over here. If there is a wholesaler or importer or whatever, I don't know. But just curious, that's all.
Tracy said about Phil, how soon will you have USA stock? I'm hoping, and I say this hoping, but it'll probably be sent here midweek. That'll go out to High Altitude Hobbies, so they'll get it sometime in the future. Obviously it depends on how quick customs and that are working. It goes up by a courier, so it's not going through the normal post system. But that's going out to Brett, I'm hoping probably Tuesday. But we've been waiting obviously on the dark dirt wash to put in with it, so it all goes out together instead of dribs and drabs. So yes, though I honestly can't say how long it's going to be, but it should be within a week. They'll have it and go for it from there.
Cool.
What's our general verdict on real colour paints?
I like them.
I do. I've used them. Used them on the wherever it went. The book missile system.
Very similar to another brand, shall we say?
Yes.
The armour ones are very flat, aren't they? But the aircraft ones seem to be quite nice.
Yeah, I've only used the aircraft ones. In all honesty, I can only quote on the aircraft ones, and they are very flat. But then I did use rapid drying thinners with them as well.
God, yeah, that's going to be really
so
flat.
So that's probably why it was quite flat.
To be honest, actually, I've used them with levelling thinner and they're flat, so I don't think it makes any difference. They are just a flat.
Yeah.
Flat thing. So, but yeah, they're quite nice paints.
I wanted to try them on the Heinkel, but after a bit of a discussion, wasn't it, one night about the colours.
Don't go there, John. Just leave it. Move along, Bill. Quick.
Just plump for Mr. Colour instead.
Yeah.
Gordon says that if he downloaded the Flory Models logo onto decal paper and then printed it, I suppose, onto his model, would he be bound to pay duty for the pleasure? Absolutely.
Yes.
No, I'll tell you what, Gordon, I'll do you a deal. As long as you send me a picture of your completed model with it on, I'll let you off. You can do it.
And you have to send it to the PM store so it's on display permanently.
Hi guys, what type of cleaner do you use for your airbrush after using lacquer spraying? To be honest, I use whatever I thinned it with. So in my case, it would just be lacquer thinners. A dribble of that goes in and we spray it. I'm as cheap as that. John's got a giant barrel now. Look, he's got enough to, like, you know.
Well, I've always got Halfords do a 500ml can. That's £8.50. And I went and had a look online because I thought I'll sort of order it to collect, and they were out of stock. The nearest was Bridgewater, which I couldn't be bothered to drive there just for that.
Well, you won't want to
Then I
go
went
there.
on eBay and 5 litres for £15 delivered.
That's it.
So it's just standard thinners.
Did it come by Royal Mail? Normal parcel?
No,
Came in a jiffy bag.
Yeah, in a jiffy bag.
But hopefully that'll last a while now.
John, have you opened the top and had a whiff of it?
Yeah, I've decanted it into me little, slightly smaller bottle.
Is it potent?
It's melted the bottle though.
To be honest, it's not as bad as the stuff I get from Halfords.
That's that rustings though, isn't it? Is that rusting stuff?
Is it baritone or something like that?
Yeah, that stinks, that stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah,
really
this
does.
stuff's not as bad.
They're saying here that, well, some of them are saying Pachet's not that big over there. Others are saying they're pretty common though.
Oh, right, okay. So does that depend on whereabouts in the
Maybe.
country you are?
Yeah, on the chat, Admiral Steve says they're good starter airbrushes. Needle sizes are large, medium and small.
Oh, right.
Relatively inexpensive here in the States.
Right, okay.
And then Chuck puts Badger and Keats are the biggest in USA. Never heard of Keats.
There were Keats, and I've heard of them. Yeah. Right, okay. What's
So
them
what-
ones out of Taiwan? Evening, Shell.
Evening, Shell.
Hello, Cheryl.
In a scroll, she's glad you saw her.
She knows she's on over the YouTube. Hello. Yeah, what's the ones out of Taiwan?
What, Sparmax? And then they
Nah.
relabel it for everybody else.
Is that how it is, the airbrushes? Is it Sparmax airbrushes?
Sparmax do airbrushes, they do a lot, but they make them for other people. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Or other people have their name put on them, shall we put it that way? It's a bit like Badger, a lot of their stuff might come out of Taiwan.
Yeah.
A lot of, obviously, iWater, all their compressors are just Sparmax compressors with an iWater badge on them, so...
Yeah.
Chris says, is rustings not cellulose thinners?
Same thing, lacquer thinners.
Lacquers and cellulose is the same thing. It depends where you are in the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fiddles.
It is.
And
Rusty.
Roger says, what's the name, John, of the thinners you got?
I'm just typing a reply up. It's just standard thinners.
As Phil knows, Badger also makes its own paints in Texas with the former employee who moved there and runs that plant. Do I? Is that something I'm aware of?
What, that you know him?
Apparently.
Do you?
Don't know. Don't know, actually. It implies I know more than I know, if that makes sense, because I can't think of the person, but yeah. Don't know. Perhaps I do. Perhaps I've forgotten it. It's going old, you know.
Yeah.
Phil, are you going to review Mr. Tool Cleaner? And what happened to you getting your a model stand for review? As for the model stand, it never showed up, to be honest. Sometimes it happens. Companies tell me things and then for whatever reason they change their mind. and it never shows up or anything else like that. I was told it was coming and all the rest of it. They said they were sending me one to review. Perhaps they watched my reviews and thought I might be a bit too honest. I don't know. You never know.
Talking of that, right? There's a company out there. I don't know if you ever heard of them, called VVS. They're a newish company. I've seen some of the guys on YouTube must have been sent some samples for them to try. They do gloss coats and sort of thinners and all that. And basically, we want some to try.
Oh, right. So please send us some.
I want to see if it's any good, or Phil wants to see if it's any good. Well, hey, not being funny, mate. If it's any good, we might stock it.
We could take it on, absolutely.
We do actually own a shop between us, so
Well,
it'd be
this
nice
is it.
to, you know, try stuff, wouldn't it?
VVS.
VVS, yeah. They do like a burnishing fluid and like matte and flat, and they do all sorts of stuff.
Mr. Tool Cleaner, we're out of anyway, aren't we?
No, I've got loads of it.
Oh,
I'll give you
right.
one when you come up.
All right, I'll pick one up. I'm going up to the unit next week, so I'll pick one up when I'm up there and we'll give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Is that not just lacquer thinners?
No, it's alien blood.
Apparently it's potent.
Apparently, really, it's like Rustington's.
I bet it's 3 times the price though, isn't it?
I don't know how much it is. Andy will tell you. It's 400 mil, isn't it?
It's got to be around the same as their Rapid and SLT, I would have thought, isn't it?
We've sold a lot of it, so somebody on web's been using it a lot. Cause
I must admit, and I'm being asked about it all the time. A lot of people have said to me, "What do you think to it? What do you think to it?" And it sounds stupid. I know we sell it, but I don't use it myself. So, you know, to me, it sounds like it's a strong lacquer thinner.
Yeah.
But yeah, weird. One of those strange ones, really. I think it might be one of those products that you think to yourself, why do you need it when I've just got lacquer thinners and just clean out my stuff anyway? But it could be brilliant, and I just don't know about these things. So
It's £9.35 at all good model shops.
is it?
Yeah.
And how much do we charge?
£9.50.
£9.35.
Yes, apparently Pache is made. Is it Pache? I've always pronounced it as Pache, but might not be. Is made in Wisconsin, USA.
All right, okay.
Well, Paul Budzik pronounces it Pache, so if he pronounces it like that, I pronounce it like that as well.
Yeah, but he probably says Tamaya, and it's Tamia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he might say vehicle, which is clearly wrong, and so is aluminum. Just saying. So I'm sticking with Vallejo. Tamia. What's the other one everyone pulls me up on? I can't remember what it is now.
Fujime.
Yeah, Fujimi. Yeah, it's Fujimi.
Fujime.
Absolutely. Anyway, this is a good question. What is the best F104? Depends what scale.
In 48th is probably now the Hobby Boss, isn't it? And in 72nd, probably the Trumpy one.
And
I
in
don't think-
32nd, it would be Italy.
In 32nd, it'd be Trumpy.
Sorry.
F104, I'm thinking of 105.
You're thinking of 105, yeah.
Yeah,
104
what are you on about?
Starfighter.
I got completely the wrong airplane. You can see why I build tanks and scenery. Asagawa in it, or Kinetic in 48.
Yeah, I must admit, I haven't tried the new Kinetic one. I know a lot of people have built it. Rick's built it, isn't he, and that, and he said it was nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I've built loads. I've done one recently. It was not that long ago. I did my one, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
but I did the old Hasegawa one, which is obviously reboxed by Edard.
Yep. Well, about
Same with
72nd.
the
Revel?
with the Kinetic, where you can open the back end up, can't you? Where behind the cockpit and see
Yeah.
all the bits
Yeah.
and bobs.
Yeah. 72nd, the Revel one's supposed to be quite nice. I think you can get.
Yeah, it's only 48 scale, so
Oh, Kinetic then, I would have thought.
I would have said
Yeah,
Kinetic
thousands.
now. I haven't built it personally, but everybody I know who has said it's very nice. So
Yeah. Andy should build one for Luftwaffe's sake compared to the Asagawa one that you built last year.
Yeah, we're not bad. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that.
Dwight at Northern Stars saying all compressors are made in China, mostly. Well, it's not all then, is it? Just saying. But you're right. Obviously, all of there's a bit of a joke that goes around because they were saying that because obviously China and Taiwan have this sort of love-hate relationship with them, you know, and it's that thing, isn't it, that Taiwan makes really good stuff and then they get copied by China who make the shit version. So, you know, and that's what I think what half the trouble is why Taiwan tries to distance itself at all costs, isn't it, from China? Because they've got quite a good reputation for quality, where China doesn't, but that's what it was. But if you look at the Sparmax range, which is obviously from Taiwan, all the knockoffs come out of China look identical to it. So
that's all speculative rumour before we start getting hacked by.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Jeez.
Yes, I did do a review of Badger paints. That went down about as well as Mission Models, wasn't it?
What was you going to say, John?
I was going to say we need to be careful what we say, otherwise the site will start getting cyber attacks, won't it?
They're too busy picking on Australia. Okay, question. I found an old model I made, the masking using Scotch tape to mask the canopy, and now it won't come off. Any idea on how to remove the Scotch tape or clean it up afterwards? Trev, what were you thinking? That's not a good tape to use. Honestly, invest in a roll of Tamiya tape. It's a lot better than using cellar tape.
I could say Scotch tape, bloody parcel tape.
Yeah. So clean-up wise, was it enamel thinners or WD-40?
WD-40.
Yeah.
WD-40, I think. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
But the thing is, that's got far too much bite. Literally, it's going to weld itself on, because obviously even if you can get the plasticky bit off, you might leave all the glue behind. So as I say, I tend to normally give them a little bit of a rub with some enamels, but obviously if you've used any type of enamel paints, especially things like extreme metals, then don't go near it. But WD-40 does the trick. Cotton bud, but it's one of those ones where you go a long time and it gradually comes away.
Yeah. Blimey, that's taping off, Scotch tape, isn't it?
Storing thinners in quantity may give you problems with home insurance if kept within the property.
Yeah, but nobody knows about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Funnily enough, as I say, I can say this openly because we're covered now. But I had the insurance assessor in here because obviously it's part of the business insurance and all the rest of it. And I did say to him, you know, technically I have got a few bits of paint in here. Are we all okay? And as he said, you're no different from any other hobby, a modeler and things like that. So it's not like, even though you do it as a profession, it doesn't matter. And because they're in 10mm, and obviously the bigger ones like 15mm bottles and stuff like that, it's okay. And as long as these don't go over, I think it's so many litres you have in a storage without being in a sealed container, you are actually okay with it. But the way I look at it is, if this place was to go up in smoke, they'll never find any evidence of anything, because this place will incinerate.
John needs to put his in a lock cage outside.
Yes, that's it.
Well, mine is kept in the my shed, isn't it? You know, it's not kept indoors.
Well, this is true.
Your armoured shed.
But yes, but I do have my fire extinguishers and my first aid kit and all my various bits here, so we're all okay. My fire extinguisher's buried.
I could say Jack to know where they are in there.
I do. My fire extinguisher's behind the door, so as long as I can get the door open closed, I can get to it.
Have you got a medical accident book?
I do actually. Yes, I have. I do have a proper accident book and my first aid kit, which is a lot of, you know, my partner's, you know, an A&E, works in an A&E department, a nurse, and like she says, it's crap. Where did you buy that? Was it like 99p?
Was it from Trago?
Yeah, literally. He said, "What's it got in it? It's got a patch for your eye and a sling and a couple of plasters and a safety pin. That's all I need. I'm fine."
The thing is, you hope you're never going to use it though, don't you? So why buy something that you're not going to use?
Yes, no, this is true, isn't it? So,
Yeah. Talking of Trago, is it open now?
yes, it is limited. Social distancing whilst you go round it.
But it's all open.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes, it opened last week. So right now, I haven't been. I daren't because it'd just be horrendous. Because everyone's going to be there, especially when it's raining.
Yeah.
You can socially distance going around there and not get wet.
Does that mean all the food places are back open, like the Cornish pasty shops and stuff? Or is
I
it just
don't. To be honest, I haven't been over there, so I might have a look this week. Pop over there and see. But I assume so. I think they will be as well. But yes, I'll have to go and have a look. See.
Just in chat, Chris says, so I get manufacturers release certain kits, i.e. F18F in certain unit markings, but why do they seem to become completely unavailable, such as Haskell F18E and Fs? And do you need to sell me from your stash some F18s and Great Wall Hobby F15E?
Now, we can part on some of that because me and Matt actually were talking about F15s on Friday, weren't we?
We were.
There's a worldwide shortage of them.
Because the Germans are buying them all.
Maybe. But no, the thing is, the F15C and the E, which obviously the two versions of it going around at the moment, Great Wall Hobbies, obviously hen's teeth, no idea even if they're even in production anymore or even working because they just seem to have dried up everywhere. And then obviously your only other option is the old Hasegawa kits, and the older Hasegawa kits are out of date in theory. They're not a modern standard, but you can't get hold of the Academy ones because they're not available. And you think being a mainstream current aircraft they'd be available, but they're not. So it's a bit of a bummer.
I do have I've got a Super Rebel F18 E and F.
Chris, you'll have more luck trying to...
To be honest, E and F we can get, and G, we can get EF and Gs, but they sort of come and go. That's the only trouble because we had a load a few weeks ago, didn't we?
What, are we on about Hornets here?
Yeah, the Super Hornets,
well,
the
let's
Hasegawas.
just say now we have a source for Hasegawa.
Yeah.
Because I spoke to you about it.
Yeah.
So things like the F104, the Skyhawks, the Crusader, the F18s, the Harrier GR7, GR5s, some 72nd stuff, but it's a bit older, and a few of the 32nd stuff, actually, the P40s, are listed on the site. Now, before everybody all gets excited and giddy about it, I don't know the stock levels. So I could put said order in, and it's somewhere abroad, shall we say, to us. But I don't know. I can make inquiries, but yeah, it's hopefully it might be they're going to be the distributor by the looks of it in Europe. I think from who's taking it on, and hopefully then they're going to keep good stocks.
Yeah,
and it could be regular.
Just to say to Chris, you'll have more luck buying one of his kidneys than you will a kit from his stash.
This is true. He says it's strange that other new manufacturers out there, Hasegawa, will keep producing their bread and butter kits, but probably they do. It's just the importers don't import them, do they?
No,
sometimes, like we've said, even with Tamiya, we can actually buy kits that are readily available in Japan, and we get them shipped over, like's happened with the Zeros and the Space Shuttles, the F-117s, but the importer doesn't bring them into the country, so we have to go and get them brought in as special orders. So that's how we get around the problem. But bread and butter wise, I don't know why it works this way. It's almost like I assume it's not just the way the importer picks what they want to bring in. I think it's what's released to them by Tamiya, say, and things like that. So, you know, we were talking about like the F-15s in 32nd scale. That's how we originally got on the conversation, wasn't it? We were talking about, because I want to see. But you can't get them because they're import only. So it's a case of, well, we'll get a load in, but we have to buy a box then. So that's why we've done it as a pre-order. But you know, if anybody wants an F15C, which seems to be a bit of a bargain at 100 quid, to you know, and we'll get them in, and we'll buy in, you know, a couple of cartons, and we'll get them shipped in.
Panic on Andy's face because he's not up yet.
Has he not done it yet? Watch Andy suddenly put up a post.
Oh, better get on it, haven't I?
Andy will shortly be putting up a post saying about a pre-order of the F15C, because obviously we want to bring them in, you see. So if anybody's interested, and they work out 100 quid, so you know, in the great scheme of it, they're cheap.
Matt's thinking, oh, bloody hell, 20 quid done.
All right. It's okay. But yeah, as it, like we're saying with the F-15, it's a bit criminal really for such an in-service aircraft that we can't get a kit of it.
Yeah.
And we're going through 72nd, 48th and 32nd, and it's just like, well, because Academy do a 72nd one, don't they, which you can't get hold of.
No, the Great Wall Hobbies one we can't get hold of.
Can't get hold of that one, which again is a good kit. Who else do a 70? An old Asagawa one? Do they do a 72nd? Well, that's knocking on a bit now.
That's a really proper old kit, yeah.
That's a I can't think of any others that's worth building, shall we say, that's worth having. Not, you know, not like the old Airfix one from the 70s or whenever it is. I really can't think of any other manufacturers that do it in 72nd. Have Revell ever done it in 72nd? Sorry, Andy.
Who?
Revell. Have they ever done an Eagle in 72nd?
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
Did the 48 Strike Eagle.
Yeah. The thing with Asagawa also is that the importers in the past have seemed to have bumped the price up a lot on them, don't they? So it's always a very expensive kit.
And
yeah, it is. I mean, they are expensive. I think it's just what it is. Dogs arrived.
The dogs have all piled up. The crew's arrived.
But then, like, I mean, obviously, talking to like one of the guys who imports, obviously it's the pound to the yen to the dollar to whatever it is, and if the pound's crap, the exchange rate, that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? There's not a lot they can do, and obviously they've got to make money as well, so it makes things expensive. And if you compare it now to the price of Tamiya kit or Great Wall Hobbies, they're all on a par. There's nothing, Meng even now have gone up. Meng, Trump is shot up in price where they used to be reasonable. So it's across the board. I think from obviously stuff from the Far East is going to be expensive because of exchange rates, all that rubbish, which is, not a lot. As us selling it, we can do a lot about it, really.
Just to go on here, apparently Hannants have got a manufactured slot titled now Meng Models X Wingnut Wings. Currently listing the Fokker DR1.
There you
so
go.
Even Hannants have put it up as being X Wingnut Wings.
Right, just talking of that, because they had an Academy kit in, because they're getting special imports in by the looks of it, so they're not actually getting the stock of Academy, but have you ever built the F-16C Academies?
Yeah.
You don't sound too impressed. Is it ants?
It's not crap. But
Don't worry, I told
you would build a Tamiya one.
Yeah, I was just asking. It's not like we're going to get a carton full of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't go around getting cartons. To be honest, it's quite an old kit now. I think that's 90s, late 90s. That one.
Kinetics.
Oh, it's one of those things. It's probably a little bit better than Kinetics, but I think they only did the one version, the C anyway, wasn't it? They just did the block, whatever it is, 50 or whatever it is. That's it. Never did anymore.
Fighting Falcon or something. On the box.
That's it. Again, it's night and day to the Tamiya one. I'd still use the Tamiya one every time. Right. But yeah.
What about the Asagawa F-16?
Again, it's very long in the tooth. They're all 90s kits. So they're the very... I think they did the Block 40, Block 42, 50, 52. And they did a few of the Aggressor ones as well. Again, putting them up against the Tamiya one, sort of night and day. It's a basic version, but it's a lot cheaper. So...
So why is the C the more common sort of version, like rather than?
Because what happened, the C is just
Yeah,
basically a single seat version. That's all C means. And then, because obviously you get the A versions when they were like discontinued. Then obviously you get the C, because obviously the B is the 2-seat, and then you got the C, and then the C is the sort of standard. And but what it was, they've got different engines. You get the Pratt and Whitney, or the other one, which I can't remember what it was now. The FW, I think it was the F100 or the F110. And they've got different intakes. You get the small mouth and the big mouth, and on the back end they've got different turkey feathers systems on the back of them. So that's between the Block 50s and Block 52s, and it all gets very blocky then, because you get the Block 60s. Then you get obviously the Israeli type ones with saddle tanks and the spines and stuff like that on the Block 60s and stuff. But the C is the more common fuselage, if you like, single seat fuselage.
Because I like the Belgium and the Dutch and the Norwegian version. If I was going to do one, so what's that, an A?
So again, it depends really when you're doing them as well, because they had the A's, but some of them now fly the C's anyway.
Oh,
So
right.
I think Poland's now got, is it the Block 60s, the newish ones as well?
Yeah, Kinetic do it, don't they? They
Yeah.
do the one with the tanks on the spine, is it, and all that
the
lot.
saddle tanks.
That's the one with come with no bottom fuselage.
Yeah, oh right, brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, right, okay. But yeah, because they had some fancy like tail art on them, didn't they? So. Yeah, interesting. You're a fan of the F-16, John?
I am actually. I do quite like it. I've always been tempted by a Tamiya 48 one.
Yeah.
I've got 2 or 3 Tamiya 48s, I think. Never built one.
Never built one. He's got them, but he's never built it.
I haven't got the
Like
32nd
you
one.
say, there are some really nice display schemes for them, aren't there?
I'm looking forward to Andy building this helicopter when it arrives.
What helicopter's that?
Oh god, yeah, I forgot about that.
It's Sea Stallion in 48 scale.
That's a monster, that is. Like, seriously, it's like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen him. It's massive.
I can remember when I had one last time, and I put it up against the Airfix Merlin. Is it Merlin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's slightly bigger than the Merlin was, but
And that's a big helicopter in
That's
48. Yeah, they should have been here today. But for DPD messing up the bloody deliveries. Hey ho.
David says here he's tried that VVS thinners and cleaners.
Yes.
Both come separately for acrylic and enamels. Both are odorless, but not as effective as Tamiya ones, I think he means.
Right, okay.
And also saying here that the VVS comes as a concentrate or as a 50-50 cut varieties. So,
Right, okay. So you have to cut your own.
yeah, that's it. Team,
get
how do I apply thin paint on a very curved line, 0.5mm, on an aeroplane when the decals for it are not supplied or available anywhere? It's for the GB Super R Racer aeroplane. Oh, I know the one you mean. Going to be white and orange, is it? Okay, so for cutting very thin lines, I'll be honest with you, you can either buy very, very thin tape, which is one way of doing it, or you can buy an Infiniboard and then cut it down to 0.4mm is the thinnest one it does. So you put your tape on here and just pop along with a knife and just cut it. I'll just mute a sec.
Tamzo. Yeah, Tamzo, go on, carry on. Is any of you two got any questions?
I was just going to try and find some of this dead thin tape, but it's like buried in there. So, but as Phil said, yeah, you can just cut very, very fine lines and use that for doing all your markings with. Works really well.
I've got to say, an Infiniboard's the way to go, in it.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'd be lost without one nowadays.
Because then you sort of you've got all sort of different measurements.
And you can get different ones with curves on as well, so you can do that way. curved shapes and things with them as well, or diamond patterns on that one. That's the same as one that Phil's got at the moment. But yeah, very useful tool.
Yeah, actually, for the 20 quid, very useful. Thing to have, isn't it, John?
It is, yes.
Show us yours.
Well, I've got the AK one, so it's just the like 1 and 2.
They're all the same, mate. We all have. But yeah, we've all got them. Mine's in the drawer.
If you get the Infinity ones, they do another 2 versions, don't they?
Yeah, I still don't understand why, like the other 2 versions, AK's never released. It's really not like AK, if that makes sense.
Phil, have you got the Infinity number 4?
He has. He's got them all, hasn't he?
What's the number? What is the number 4?
That's B, and you've got C. I'll make you wait. C.
I'm guessing that's
for
the
your
D.
radials.
Well, that's a nice
and
one.
then
I like
B,
the radial. Yeah. Oh, look at that one.
the one you need.
And you can get on Amazon, get us some.
You can do the same. That's very similar to B, though, isn't it? At the bottom end of B.
Yeah, it is. It's just that if you look, this one's got different size of the grid. Hold on, a bigger camera. Hold on, there you go, sort of. But you can see these are different grid sizes. Each one's different size. Where this one you've got 4, but some of those you've only really got 2 diamonds. Where this one you've got all of them are diamonds at different scales. So you've got 2 mil, and then you've got this is spacing for 2 mil at 45 degrees, or you've got units of 2 mil, and then down here you've got 2.5, 3 mil, and then 3.5, and then obviously you've got the other ones here with the normal ones of 3 mil, 2.5 as well.
Those diamond sections are really good for doing arrows and things, aren't they? And
yeah, so yeah, they're quite handy.
Yeah.
And so you can pretty much come up with anything from the diamond ones like that. So you should say if you're doing chevrons, think of it bigger. So you just go the entire side. If you wanted to do like side of a tank or something, as your mast set, that's what it's for.
I keep looking at the C because I'd imagine that's quite useful for like things like nose cones and that. Where
that's right. Yeah, you got your radials, so
and a taper.
Yeah. So yeah, very, very clever.
Are they still available, the Infinities?
Eh?
Are Infinities still available?
I don't know, to be honest.
Yes.
Are they?
They're from. It's like C. I won't mind the C one because that's like really, really useful.
There is a online hobby shop in the UK you can get them from.
Is there?
Is there? But not for long.
But I'm not going to advertise it.
No, you're not, because they know us.
Because it ain't us.
You saying they're anuses?
You need to try and get them, Matt, really.
I don't know a thing for the Infinity stuff. Because I honestly thought that AK had bought them out. I thought they'd done the hoover them up because it's a good
Keith
product.
has mentioned it in chat.
Well done, Keith. That's it, mate. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, take Keith off the list.
Yeah. Muting. No, I mean, no, it's a useful thing to have. All joking aside, they are really worth getting.
Yeah, they are. I must admit, I use mine.
No.
I have got, to be honest, down here in my masking drawer, and I have all different thicknesses, right the way down to the tiny little ones. We've got the 0.4, the 0.7s, and all the rest of it. But I'll be honest, I don't use any of them now. I just use these. Because I find it easier, because also you can put it on the board, chop it to the length you want, and you're not wasting it, because literally I can come along like now and peel this off still, and it's still good to go. Yeah, if you just have the tape lying around, so you can put it down here, and then just come along, peel it off, and you're sorted, and it's still sticky and good to go. So you're not wasting any either, which is quite nice.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a good idea.
So yes.
I wish I'd thought of it.
So basically, as saying in here, you're basically just pinstriping, but the thinner the tape, the better you can do the curve. Obviously, if it's big wide tape, you can't curve it, but if you go small and then you just backfill for your masking, you'll be absolutely fine.
Yep, absolutely.
We're only just starting to see things actually ship from China now. Again, this is a bit of a weird thing because China has been fully operational for absolute ages now. A lot of it is container shipping, getting the containers in the right place, and shipping has been the issue over things, and getting things out of China quickly. If you want to get it on a airliner and get it freighted over that way, costs an absolute fortune because there's not many airliners flying. So that's why it's a lot more expensive, and most companies can't afford to take the hit in shipping them over that way, so they're still on the obligatory slow boat from China because they're just waiting for them to come through. But a lot of the trouble originally was with shipping containers. They're all in the wrong place.
I tell you what, with like say with air freight and stuff, I can vouch for that because I'm on the flight line for Donny Airport, which is quite a big for freight.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
You know, we used to hear planes all the time, and it's been so quiet. You get the odd one, but it's very, very quiet because we get the big Antonov land here because literally can't land anywhere else. They come to the what's it called now? Donny Sheffield Airport, because where the Vulcans used to fly out of, isn't it? That's where the Vulcans. So it's long enough to land. Oh man, actually good to see it when it all thing is, because it does come at least a few times a year. One of them does, so it'd be nice to go and
go and see it. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely be a good trip out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And it literally is what, half an hour, 40 minutes from where I live.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering about moving out there at some point. We might be nice.
Be nice.
Yeah.
Well, I just answer a question.
Like cheap property under the flight path.
Yeah. Go on, John.
Just answer a question that Chris asked on the chat before it disappears completely.
Yeah.
I've not got either of the Su-34s because they're beasts of a kits, really. They're massive, the 48 ones. If I had to pick one, I'd probably go with a Hobby Boss, just from experience with Kitty Hawk.
The Trumpeter
Su-24, if you mean the 48 one,
I've built it.
Phil's probably better answering that because he's built the thing.
Yeah, I've got it up there.
The tail end's wrong on it, which you can get a correction set for, I think, innit?
Yeah, well, you do what I did, and I made FOD covers for it.
Yeah, I think the engines are too far apart as well, aren't they?
Well, they're just too small in general, I think. But yeah, they're too far apart. What I did, I fudged mine. I made FOD covers that are the correct size and just put them on the back. So when you look at it, it looks like they're correct now. But if you took them off, the engines are down here and they're smaller. So... And the other horrible thing with it as well, from the other side as well, that's why we put FOD covers on it, the intakes, if you look in the intakes, you can see all the gearing. It's like proper old school for the wings. And it's like, why? You shouldn't be able to see that as plain as day by looking in the intake. So
I have got a Trumpy Su-24, but it's a 72nd scale one, not the 48.
Which actually is a far better kit, because I've reviewed that one as well, and it looks like all the things they said about that were wrong with the 48th one, they fixed with the 72nd. Including the way that the top half goes on, because it has two halves and then you have a centre seam, and that's a plate that goes on top. They did a far nicer job on the 72nd than they did on the 48th one.
You can't actually build it as an MF as what it is on the box though, because it's missing some lumps and bumps, but nothing major.
Well, they do the MR as well, don't they?
Yeah.
MR, yeah, that's what I meant. MR.
Yeah.
You can't build it. It's not actually an MR. Because it's missing some lumps and bumps. But as for aftermarket,
sorry, I coded message from my esteemed colleague.
Has he put them up? Has he?
No, not yet.
He's on it. He's on it like Sonic. What about the 72nd 34 from Trumpet? What? Because you've reviewed that as well. Because I think you had it offers, didn't you, John?
Yeah, I've got that one here. Yeah, I've got. I did get a nose for it because I think that's a problem on every Su-34 kit, isn't it? Is the shape of the nose.
Yeah.
So I did got that, and I got that from Temp Models from Russia. They do some nice aftermarket stuff, actually, resin. They're well worth looking at.
What's the one with the flat nose?
That's the Su-34.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because Italy do one, don't they? And
Flying suitcase.
Yeah.
It's not great, is it, that one? I don't think.
Not the Italy. That's the one Tamiya reboxed, isn't it, in 72nd scale?
So yeah. Because going back to the 24, because Trumpy did 2 versions in 72nd, don't they?
What, the 34?
No, 24. The Fencer.
Oh, the Fencer.
Yeah. They do the F-Art and they do the...
I can't see where it is now.
M.
M.
It is. It's the M and the MR.
Is it? I don't know.
I think so. If I remember rightly, it is. Yeah.
I don't know.
Feds to do one as well, but that's the old Dragon kit, I think, and it's pretty bloody awful. That is totally the wrong shape, I think.
Oh well. Gordon says, will I be making a video of my trip to PM Stores? Last time I did it, everyone complained about my choice of music. Do you remember? Saying what shit choice of music I travel to.
It's a long journey, isn't it?
It is. It's 4.5 hours. It's like a 9-hour round trip. I have to put some crap on to keep me awake at 4 in the morning.
Because obviously my mum lives in Nottingham, so what's that, about 50 minutes from here, give or take? That was a long trip today, because that's the longest I've drove since shut down. And it was just like, I had Lydia in the car in the back, and I could tell like she was bored out of her brain, because we were just like on the M1, M18, the usual trip down there. And I thought, God, this is not a lot of traffic about though, thankfully. It was quite motorway, it was all right. So,
but the next time we get footage from the store, it's going to be very professional looking, isn't it? Because Andy's got his new toy.
He's going to show him your toy.
Go on, get your little thing out.
Get your gimbal out.
Get your gimbal out.
Oh, you were talking about then.
Have you lubed it?
Yeah, still. Oh, that way.
Oh, look, it's got his stand as well, look. Oh. See, look.
Fancy gyroscope.
Yeah, it's not turned on yet, so it's just going around everywhere, but yeah. It's cool. Get some good effects with it, actually.
It's going to be like a TV production.
I was going to say, what you do in your private room is up to you.
Yeah, got no wobbly cam with him.
No, that's it.
It's a DJI Osmos 3.
DJI
Obviously,
osmosis.
your
Isn't
phone
that like,
goes in.
you know, when delamination of fiberglass, isn't that osmosis? And like, boats get that. And like,
Osmosis. I thought it had something to do with plants. Osmosis.
no, obviously osmosis as well, isn't it? It's like sucking like fresh water out of salt water.
Yeah.
They used to have an osmosis pump on the boat. At Phil, I'm almost certain it's because of the fragile supply chains that can't be reconfigured to accommodate the problems in connecting elements in the physical supply chain. That's very posh. Where's my alarm going off? That's very posh. What it is, apparently, I only say this because my brother's got a few companies out there, and you know, they were saying about, obviously, because China is a bit bureaucracy with paperwork being as the state of they are. So consequently, if you've got to get a shipping from a factory to a port, it needs to have government approval to be able to move, and then you have to have government approval to export it. But the problem is, apparently, if the shipping container isn't known, it can't be shipped. The shipping containers, when everything happened and it all went completely like Pete Tong, or wrong, okay, so all the shipping containers left China, but none of them went back to China because everything got locked down. So consequently, all the shipping containers are all around the world, but not in China. So when they're in the ports and then go to, as in empty shipping containers to the factories to be loaded with merchandise and then to be put on, there's no code numbers. So the entire thing ground to a halt until they got enough shipping containers back in the country that then could be tracked and then obviously filled, supplied. Government official says yes, it can be shipped from the factory to the port. Then the government official says it can leave the port, and then obviously it gets put on the ship and then it makes its way round. And because all the containers were in the wrong place, it took them quite a while to get them all back in, which, you know, when you talk about it, it seems like you're talking like a handful, but it's probably millions of containers, you know, and they're all in the wrong place and they're all on the wrong ships, and the ships are all in the wrong place because the container ships all went into, you know, limp mode and stuff like that, and just treading water literally, and then they had to get in the right place. So it's just getting all of this stuff back round. The only thing we can sort of hope for, isn't it, is that we don't get a second wave and we don't get any more lockdowns, you know.
Just talking about container ships and stuff then, so we've had this lockdown and nothing's been moving that. What have the Somali pirates been doing for 3 months?
Well, they furloughed.
They've been, yeah,
They've all furloughed, so they've had a holiday whilst they wait for the container ships to come back. Personally, they prefer a nice oil tanker.
well, yeah, I suppose they've been shifting, but yeah.
Yeah, they've furloughed them.
Yeah, but oil's worth nothing at the moment, isn't it? So they're not bothering with oil tankers.
Yeah, this is it.
Question from chat from Lynn. It's got the Rebel 32nd Mark II Spitfire. Oh, hang on, it's just flicked down. How would you glue the armoured glass on it?
Why has he not got it?
He's working on one right now and he needs to find out before he screws it up.
So what's he saying? The kit doesn't come with armoured glass?
Yeah, it does. You just glue
Yeah,
it
how
with,
do you glue it on?
just glue it with crystal clear.
I put it in, if it's like armoured kits, I usually put it in afterwards.
No, it's
Yeah,
30
the
seconds
armoured
Spitfire.
glass.
Oh, sorry, armoured glass on a Spitfire.
It's a bit on the front windscreen, isn't it?
Yeah, crystal clear.
Normally
sits
it
inside the front windscreen,
laminates underneath and then just pokes up
Yeah.
anyway. So you just glue it in on the bottom, and then obviously when you put the top piece on, they sort of go like that.
Yeah.
But I say, always use PVA glue just in case it fogs.
Yes.
So micro crystal clear every time.
It is. Definitely.
I've built that kit and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Apart from the painting, because I did it in extra acrylics.
What would you, if you painted it again, what would you do it in?
It's waiting for me to say attack lacquers. Probably
I'm not
AK.
like that. Yeah, that's what I thought you.
I'll probably use AK Extreme, so to speak. So I'm trying to multitask and put the thingy thread up for the F-15.
Haven't you done it yet?
Here's
Here's one of the guys who in the chat is talking about here about obviously IPMS. So some of them are saying sad to say they won't be going to the Nationals this year because of the coronavirus. And then 50 Cal says, hi guys, it's just over 4 months to go before Scale Model Worlds. Like, what happened to summer?
Yeah.
But anyway, how confident you are it's going to go ahead?
I'm not.
I'm not, to be honest.
And
As I said
I
before,
can't
as a company, we've already paid to go. To be honest, we pay in a year in advance because you get a slight discount if you pay up front a year in advance. So we've already done it, as we do every year. But I'll be honest with you, if it goes ahead as it normally does, I'll be really surprised, because I just feel that with social distancing will still be in place then. I can tell you now, it's not going to go away. And I feel that perhaps some of our European companies and obviously, you know, just visitors and that probably won't be able to make the visit or won't want to make the visit. So I just can't see how it can go ahead. I think they're better off saying, look, can it for this year, we'll come back next year.
I do. I think that's a sensible thing.
I think that's the most sensible way of doing it. We've already got a contingency plan in. If it's going to happen, we're going to have a full-on Telford weekend live shows from Friday to Sunday night. So, because it will be as if we've done the show. So we're going to have our own virtual model show. and
I mean,
we'll
we were
have show
talking about-
specials and things and everything. If it doesn't happen, that's the plan. We've already said it.
We were talking about it this afternoon, weren't we? And it's like I said, I think the IPMS are waiting for the Telford Centre to say, no, you can't have it.
Yeah.
Rather than then make a decision, first. I honestly think that's what they're waiting for.
I tell you what, to be honest, if that is the case, I think the IPMS are on a sticky wicket with traders because of how much we have to pay, and if it doesn't pay, as in what we, because we go there to sell stuff.
Absolutely.
And even if it's down to a meter rule of social distancing, that's still not going to work in Telford.
Because if the centre management cancel it,
yes,
then the IPMS can say, right, fine, but we're not paying. Whereas if the IPMS cancel it, the centre can turn around and say, right, you've booked that slot, you've got to pay for it. And I'm sure that's what they're hanging on for.
I must admit, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit concerned. If it does go ahead and there is any form of social distancing, I think we will run at a loss. We pay, it costs us thousands to do the show. I'm not going to lie to you guys, it actually costs us thousands of pounds to put that show on. Because we have, and obviously you've got PM with us as well, but from a Flory Models point of view, I've got to sell a lot of £5 packs of sanders just to make my costs back. Let alone obviously the other costs as well with hotels for a few days, the meals, fuel costs, all the things that go with it. We usually take up all the promo stuff as well. That all costs money. We have to sell a lot of £5 worth of sanders to make that back. And if we've got social distancing, we're not ever, even if we had a queue all week long, literally we wouldn't make that money back, because what happens is, you guys who've been to the show know what it's like. We have 10 deep at the stand and people literally handing over money, buying sanders for 2 days solid. That's how it works, and that's what we do. But if it was a 1 meter rule in, and it's people having to do, so you can only serve a customer every minute or anything else like that, then we will run at a loss. It's as simple as that. There's no way we would make the money back, which would be, we would have to make the decision then, because I'm not being funny, you just bite the bullet and lose the money for the stand, because obviously you've got your fuel costs up there, the vehicle hire, obviously the hotel, the meals and all the bits and pieces that go with it. It wouldn't be viable for us to do it. So
if you've got a social distance and they say, right, you've got to keep a metre apart, so you've almost got to go through the hall like that, if you're visiting, you'd be lucky to get through one hall in a day, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. They're on about doing a reduced show, aren't they? Like a massively reduced show. So it's not going to be over the 3 halls. I don't even know if it'll be over the 2, to be honest. I don't know what the plan is, but I've heard
then you've got the general public saying, well, if it's like that, I'm not going to bother going.
But this is it. But a lot of people have said when we brought it up, when we were doing the shows weekly, that they're not going to go because of age or underlying health conditions, or got elderly relatives, or got this. And I think people have made their minds up already that it's just written off this year and we'll start again hopefully next year. So I think even if they put it on, like you say,
it is. You've obviously got to be realistic as well. Our demographic of modelers are normally the over 45s.
Yeah.
And obviously that's the more at-risk group as well. So there's part of me that often thinks as well that, obviously I don't imagine this is not going to go away, let's face it. So by putting 20-odd thousand of us all in a couple of very small rooms together is not going to be good for those. But also you have to think about it, as I do from the bigger picture, is those people at the show, that's assumes somebody's got it and it gets spread around the show. They then take it all home to their relatives and people that they're with and all stuff like that, who perhaps are more mature modelers, shall we say. It could be a nightmare, an absolute nightmare, and I think it's one of those things where you have to think long and hard about it and take, as I would, I think, the sensible decision to say, look, can it for this year, come back next year, bigger and better, and we'll go from there. Because this year, let's face it, it's been a total write-off anyway.
Well, I mean, it's got to be safe, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. That's the thing. I think people are forgetting.
Well,
it's the safety thing. And I always say as well, it's not me, because I'm fit and healthy. I don't have any underlying health problems that I'm aware of. Okay, but at the end of the day, I'd be mortified if I brought it home and gave it to my mother. You know? And that's what I think a lot of people have to think about, is that, you know, maybe not you, and you might be fine and you might catch it. And I know loads of people who have had it, but also I know quite a few, even members, who have died from it, you know, and it's a horrible thing, you know, and it's just out there, and it's one of those things you can't see it, can't smell it, although Telford, you probably could. But, you know, it's one of those things where I think really, if I was on their committee, I'd be putting my hand up saying, can it for this year, do it next year.
Can you imagine the queue to get in with social distancing in place?
Oh, yeah, crikey.
It'd be halfway round Telford, wouldn't it?
It'd be Shropshire.
Again. But again, that's good. Just taking, because obviously, like, people go to Cosford, don't they, before as well?
Yeah.
And obviously, we don't know when museums will be open again, but there's obviously the other aspects of it, of eating and hotels and accommodation and all that sort of thing, because it's not something you can really do in a day. You know what I mean? If you're coming at a fair distance, you're not going to bounce that in a day, are you? You try and get around the show and get home. You know, people stop. They do it for a social as well, because clubs obviously go. Now, what if the clubs turn around and go, well, we're not coming, like the SIGs and stuff? Do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously Nathan does a Luftwaffe SIG, and obviously Andy Walker, who we know is on the Cleveland lot, who's quite a big, you know, a model club, and they'll turn around and go, well, we're not coming.
No.
But then what they're going to do? They've got no display. That's what I'm getting at. If the clubs decide between them, well, no, I'm going to give it a miss. I'm not risking it. There ain't no show whether we go or not as trade, is there? Because
it's doubtful you'd get any of the international branches coming over.
Well, no, probably.
And they're some of the best tables, aren't they?
Yeah. But it's nice as well, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nice.
I just have to say though, quite right, where it goes. Gordon says someone farted outside Wonderland Models last year and nearly cleared the entire Hall 3. That could have been Andy though, because we're next to them.
Hey.
So yes, very good. And also they're saying they like your hairstyle. It's taken years off of you, Andy.
It's fair. Shell quite likes it as well now. She keeps saying to me that you need to keep it short.
Yeah.
Because I've got gel on it though. It makes it look like I'm.
I was going to say I wouldn't bother with the gel now.
No.
You look like me with my scars in my head. When I've shaved it too short, you can see it. It looks like I've been attacked by a velociraptor.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll get a thing soon about Telford. So
I don't think you're going to hear anything till August, because they haven't got to make the decision, do they, till August? So.
But
someone mentioned in chat earlier that John should remember something else. I can't remember what they were talking about. JL15 or something like that. John is old enough to remember that. I'm thinking, cool, because I'm older than John. No mention me.
But yeah. As I say, I just think personally, me and Matt, and we will talk with the team as well, because obviously the guys are just as much as part of what we do with doing the show. But you know, at some point we will have to make a decision, because we have to buy in stock. You know, because PM takes a lot of money's worth of stock with them, and we have to stock up for the show clearly and stuff like that as well. So at some point we'll have to make a decision to say, even if we're going to go, even if Telford hasn't yet. And also, not being funny, we last year, as a lot of you know, we rented a very nice house, and for the first time, instead of being in the Premier Inn, and we had this fantastic house. It's huge, but is that even available?
I don't know.
You know, so
I don't know. Leslie kind of sorts that out, so if we know, then she could get in touch. But yeah.
Well, you might have that. You know, if these hotels and things aren't open, how's everyone going to stay there anyway? You know,
well, that's the problem. I mean, the hospitality sort of sector is going to have to open up. So there ain't going to be one, is there? At some point, but are they going to, like you say, police that as well with social distancing and all the other stuff? Is big.
So we'll have to have a giant plastic screen. You know, where I have the Sanders have them out in front. I'm going to have a massive plastic screen, be like a bank. You know, I want one of those full hazmat suits with a blower.
Just for everyone's imagination, when we got back to the house we were stopping in, we all then went into our pajamas and wandered around the house for the rest of the evening in pajamas.
Yes, very nice it was too.
Hey,
That's
like,
comfortable, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And playing snooker.
Very
Yes.
snooky, yeah. Oh, nice that was.
yeah.
But yeah, but as I say, as far as I'm aware, I had a message from them a couple of weeks ago now, which is when they had their meeting in May, saying as far as they were concerned, it was still a go, and that they make a decision closer to the time. But I have heard from other people that they have to sign for taking on the place and all the rest of it in August, so that would be when the make or break is. But we don't know. As I say, my worry is that we're going to get the peak. We're going to get a second peak in the autumn. I think that's when we're going to get it. So, never mind. Anyway, we have got a few questions from the site, which I haven't looked at yet.
Can I just quickly say congratulations to Steve Green for being the first person to pre-order a Tamiya F16.
I was going to say.
Right,
No, excuse me. I was the first one.
Oh yeah.
You don't count.
I don't count. 'Cause
Steve's officially first. You've got to put your name down, Phil, anyway.
Oh right, I'll put my name down. Can you put my name down, please, Andy?
But fair, I've put in the description by order of Phil because he wanted one. We're doing a special order of Tamiya 15C. Yeah.
Andy, you not having one?
Yeah, I might do. Oh, Dave P's put one down as well.
Oh right, there you go. I don't know how many's in the carton. That's the thing. I can't be that many. It's quite a big box, so.
Is it
I think there's
three
probably
in
only
the box,
three
or
in
is
the
it
carton
six in it?
anyway.
I don't know if it's 3 or 6. I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever, however many we'll get them in. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. I'll get them ordered.
Yes. I'll tell you what would be funny at Telford. Everybody would be taking their respirators from home, won't they? Everybody would be walking around like this. Hello. Can I have one of those, please? That's what it would be like. 'Cause everyone's tight. So everyone would just take their respirators from home. Right, okay, so question is, first of all, Keith is in first. Hi, Phil and team. A bit of a silly question. No such thing as a silly question, unless it's silly, and then we'll laugh. Have today just applied Canopy Pass, Montex, whatever, to my Zero clear parts. They are interior and exterior marks. How do I, I know to... No, sorry, I thought someone knocking on the door. I know to first spray my interior colour and then the model colour with exterior masks only, but uncertain to the interior. Do I spray the interior colour? I'm thinking of doing it the way it looks on the framework glass, and it's the very exterior surface that will be exterior colour.
Hey?
Anyone still with me? Right? Or do I do the? I'm still there. It's all right. I'm still with him. I do, or do I do the exterior first, then the interior colour? I accept it is probably overthinking it. You are totally. So what I would do is mask both. Okay. I would personally, this is just me, prime the outside in black to colour fast it first. So that means the framework will look absolutely solid. Because there's nothing worse when it's a bit translucent, you can see through it. So do that black, then I paint the inside colour, so that will be whatever it is, interior green or whatever it is Japanese aircraft are, okay, and then that's in, because then that will you won't need to prime it because it's internal, so you're not going to scratch it or be handling it or anything else like that, so honestly I won't worry about it. And then on the outside, that would then be just into your normal painting phase, so it'd be no different from doing this. So this is black on here now, so it's colour fast, and then when it goes to metal and all the rest of it, it's just part of it, and do it that way. But remember to unmask the inside before you attach it to your model, because trying to get masking tape off the inside once it's in place can be a nightmare, and literally do it that way. So it's very straightforward. Just mask both sides, because that way you can see it when it's aligned. So if you can see clear plastic through it, you know you're good, okay? And then I would literally black prime the outside just to colour fast it, spray the inside with the internal colour, unmask it, place it in, and then obviously don't unmask the outside until you've finished all your paintwork. and then obviously put your top colours on, things like that, and away you go. Very similar to how I did my bull turret in a lot of ways.
Matt,
What? Oh, six. Is
6
there?
now.
not including Phil's.
I
Don't
think
you
we
forget
should try
mine.
10
I'm not
by
being
the end of
conned
the
again.
show. Hey,
10 by the end of the show.
10 by the end of the show. Just a thing, by the way, if Keith's watching, with them Montex masks, be careful because they're vinyl and they stretch, and also they've got a really bad tendency of leaving the adhesive behind when you peel them off. So you'll definitely want a bit of WD or.
I was going to add, from my experience of using them, don't put the masks on until you're ready to paint,
Yes, the peel.
because they got a tendency to peel off.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it at the time, but to be honest with you, when I got these, I wasn't 100% sure what they were, and I was hoping they weren't vinyl, because Montex use vinyl masks, and I don't like them at all, because they just, I don't know, they're very difficult to use as well and to get down, where these are lovely, because this is like half and half. I have to say, this stuff which is called Corofol is great stuff. Because it's literally, it's plasticky, but it's more papery, if that makes sense. So it's like a half and half hybrid. So it's halfway between your normal sort of Tamiya Kabui tape and a vinyl mask. So it's plasticky, so it's quite strong, but it's got all the better parts of the paper side. So I really do like them. Highly recommended. They are P-Mask. First time I've ever used them in anger, and I really like them. I rate them. Good cut as
I've
well.
got a Ontex set for me Heinkel.
Yeah,
That's got exterior,
yeah,
which obviously I will use to paint, because I always think it does look better when the interior is painted as well. But I have actually bought the Edward set for the outside,
yeah.
so that I know I can put it on and just leave it now until I'm ready to take the masking off.
Yeah.
Because if I use these, it will just peel.
Just another tip, you know, these Montex masks, you could use actually them and transfer them onto Tamiya tape and make his own mask. So he's using tape instead of the.
Yeah,
you know what
use
I mean?
the template of them.
Yeah, using as a template really, which is not a bad idea, because then obviously you're pretty good with Tamiya tape or Kabui tape, whatever you're using, for it stopping on and not peeling in the corners.
Yeah, because even I've got these basically for the markings.
Yeah.
But I know it'll be a pain in the butt. Well, I will literally just do one at a time, put it on, spray it.
Yeah.
Rather than put them all on, and then by the time I finished putting them all on, they've started peeling.
I must admit, I have Montex masks for when I did that 787, the airliner, and they are still in the drawer. Because I saw them and it was like, oh, no, don't like them, so I didn't bother. So I used the decals out of the kit. Okay, so James says, hi Phil, back again with a few more questions. This is James with the Tomcat. Hold on, here he is. This Tomcat. Look at that. He's looking very smart now for his first kit. Look at that, everyone. Kudos. Cracking job. Anyway.
What amazes me, it's the Rebel one, isn't it?
It is. It's a really nice kit, isn't it?
Come out well, isn't it?
Gone really well. Anyway, he's looking to buy the Eurofighter Typhoon 48th scale or 32nd. What do you recommend with kit options? To be honest with you, you've only got one, and that's called Revell, because they're the only people who make them. Unless you want, you know, Trumpeter, and you don't.
Asagawa do a 72nd one.
Yeah, but he wants the 48th or 32nd.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. I thought you said that. 72nd.
Don't touch the Trumpeter one, because the Trumpeter one has got the Tornado engines, which, as we all know, the Tornado engine is the...
retired,
as opposed to the EJ2000 engines, which are on the Eurofighter. So the back ends of it are wrong. Well, they're not wrong, because it's perfect for the prototype. If you want to make a prototype Tornado Typhoon, it's perfect. But yeah, because obviously, usual thing, Trumpeter was so on the ball that they did the wrong version. So anyway, so I've built both. There's both builds of them up on the site as well. So go off and have a look at them. You can see them. Actually, to be honest with you, I know usual thing. It's Revell. It's flashy. It's got some fit issues, but it's cheap, and you can actually do a lot with that kit.
Yeah,
to do both versions, don't they? The two-seater and the
the single. So yes, he says, thank you for your advice about matte coating on my Tomcat. I also for the great videos that you make. Thank you. which has taught me loads of new skills and how to use an airbrush. I'm new to Flory members as of last month and absolutely loving it. Thank you to all the Flory models and PM models. There you go.
You're welcome.
His tips in the post. Okay, Harry says, hello Phil and the gang. I know it's been said a few times recently about adding blue and black in order to make adding blue to black to make it less intense. But can you please recommend from experience a specific Tamiya LP blue to add to LP1, which is black, gloss black? As I'm new to Tamiya LP paint, to be using it for my Lancaster and is NF Defiant. Okay, so I must admit, I spoke to Matt about this one because I've read your question before. It looks like Tamiya don't do an LP dark blue, as in lacquer paint, as in LP lacquer paint, does make sense. But the only one they do is like a medium blue, and that's no good at all. So what I would say, as we said before, is you could use any from the, don't forget the normal acrylic range, which aren't acrylic, as we know they're alcohol based, so same thing. So in there you've got dark blues, so you've got XF4, which is like a darker blue, but also you've got like X3, which is royal blue, and that's the one I use. But you can mix that with LP paints and you have no problem at all. They will go in and work beautifully.
You've got XF17.
Or XF17.
Which is sea blue.
Oh yeah, sea blue, yeah. Which is a really, really dark green blue. So that's actually probably a good one actually. Well done, Matt. Good spot on that one. It's a really nice one actually. That's a real dark greeny blue, you know.
Yeah.
Nice little hue to it, won't it?
Yeah, I've got a good hue to that. I must admit, good that one. But but don't forget, that's the great thing with the Tamiya lacquer paints. You can mix them with that type of paint as well, and it will just be like mixing lacquer to lacquer. It won't harm it. It works great. I've mixed them all before and had no problems with it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's fine.
Also, I've discovered that I have a limited edition 1/32 Revel Tornado Mark 1 in my REF in my stash, but not mad on jets yet. In general, is there one described enough to warrant moving on, or are they 10 a penny? Nathan's not on tonight. He's taking one for the team and seeing his in-laws. Again, I don't know. Do we know what they're going for?
I'm sure he said the other day that the REF version was in short supply at the moment.
The thing is, if you are going to offload it, I'll be honest with you, do it right now, because as soon as Italeri drop their GR4, it's not going to be worth a light. It will become one of the sort of collectors if you want to, because I assume I'm not an expert on tornadoes, but I assume you could easily make a GR1 from a GR4 because you just don't put all the lumps and bumps on it, and you could probably putty over the plate underneath it and stuff. So you know, I imagine that it would be one of those where, you know, again, if it's one of those tricky ones, isn't it? If it's not doing any harm in your stash, I'd probably keep it in your stash, because there you go. You know, there is a new one coming out, as we know, any minute, and it's due out within the next few months, I'm reliably informed. But yeah, it may be still a good kit, because no one's actually seen the Italeri one yet. We're assuming it's a good one, but you never know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It could be a complete dog. Wait till Nathan gets his teeth into one.
He's not having one. It's too big, isn't it? It's not his scale.
Tough. If I give him the kit, he'll have to build it.
He's got to build it. He's got a video build it.
I want it to be a 35-part video build by next week. But yeah, it's the same with, I get a lot of people, they say to me, how much is a kit worth and all the rest of it, and do you think it's worth hanging on to? Like I always say, if you need the money and you're not going to build it, you might as well cash it in and then use that money to buy something else you are going to build. But if it's one of those kits you just don't know, I'd just leave it in your stash. Just see what happens to it.
Yes, Andy.
Isn't that right, Andy? Yeah. That's why Andy's got so many kits, because he has the same sort of ethos. I'm just going to sit on it until I need it, or Matt needs it.
You end up with ancient frog gannets and wyverns.
Yeah, but to be honest, John, you didn't even know they were in your loft.
No, that's true.
Okay, Nigel says, hi Phil and team, I've recently bought the Hataka Orange line of RAF Bomber Command paints from the PM Model store, which I'm thinking of using on my 172nd Wellington Bomber. The question which I imagine has been asked loads of times before is, what is the best primer to use with this kind of paint? Should I be adding a bit of thinners when using the prime to paint? Used your washes on my 148 scale B25 Mitchell Doolittle Raider. Brings out the details fantastic. Well impressed. See, another person who's impressed. Honestly. Okay, so who would have thought it? Hey, John. Anyway. Okay, priming up Hatakas.
Surfacer.
Yeah.
Mr. Surfacer 1000, 1200, Mr. Surfacer any of them. Mr. Surfacer black primer, white primer, add any of them.
Any of them. To be honest with you, at the end of the day, the only thing you might have to worry about sometimes, if you're using a like a gloss primer type thing on the surface, only because I found this the other week and I was doing the B17, is that it split when I went over it with the Mr. Surfacer 1000. As in, it didn't sink because it couldn't get a grip, and it literally went away, and it left a puddle in the middle.
Oh, right, separated.
It separated. It literally curdled almost on the surface, and I think what it was, it couldn't get a grip on the gloss black. So when I did this bad boy, as was seen in the video, which you'll see on Monday as well, I actually sanded it. I keyed it first. So I keyed the entire black on the front of this before I put the primer on, and it's now perfect, no problem at all.
Good practice, that.
Good practice to put a key surface on your gloss black paint before you try and prime on it.
Yeah, paint.
From my experience of Attacker, let your primer dry at least 24 hours.
Key it.
And then once you put your attackers down, if you've got to do any masking on that, leave that to dry for at least 24 hours.
I know that's had complaints in the past, but I still like that.
Yeah, to be honest, I love that. I know people said about it didn't dry. I've never had that problem, and I've still got bottles of it. For people, clearly you guys haven't seen it, but for everyone who watched my bite-sized video on primers, you'll see I did say it's good stuff. Shake it, spray it, good to go.
I know Nathan's not here, but he uses XF19, doesn't he, for pretty much all his priming?
Yeah.
Can I just say before that, stir it, don't shake it.
All right, stir it.
Stir it, don't shake it.
I'm Jimmy Bond, me. I'm shaken, not stirred.
That for me is the big minus with attackers.
Does that go with your martini thingamajig if you're James Bond as well?
Yes.
Stir it, don't shake it.
Yeah,
You're actually
absolutely.
shaken, not stirred.
I'm shaken, not stirred, me. That's me. That's the way I roll. Ian's just said about, can you recommend a good reference book for the F-15? I have. So, Andy, can you read out the next question?
Yeah.
And I will
it's
go
actually
and grab
a picture, so
it is.
I'll go
so
on
I'm
to
going
the
to put
next
the
question.
picture up, and then I'm going to run, and I'm just going to grab the book.
Yeah. So, hi Phil and all, nearly there with my part of the ME262 squadron. That looks really nice, actually.
Cool.
Considering I'm building a 262 and I've messed the front up.
I like this check a bit.
Two quickies, if I may. Need to run an aerial from the canopy frame. I pre-drilled the hole before painting, and need to glue the easy line down.
Yeah.
I normally use Zappa-Gap, but a small amount will fog canopy. Yes. So, is there a glue that's better that is thin enough to go through the tiny hole without fogging it? Personally, I'd use PVA glue.
I was going to say PVA.
Yeah, you can thin PVA with glue with water, can't you? Thin it, glue it in, and then just let it dry for a couple of days before you then use stretch. Yeah, if you're easy line saying, aren't you? Yeah, and just leave it dry a couple of days before you stretch it onto the tail. Personally,
John.
Yeah. Well, yeah, PVA really is your only option, isn't it?
Yeah. Just a quick note. Did the 262s have a aerial going from the?
I didn't think they did, to be honest.
Yeah, because the aerial's on the back, the loop aerial, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the spine.
That's an early one, though.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have the loop aerial if it was an early one. surely.
Is that the Airfix kit? Because it looks, I think it is the
It does
Airfix.
look like Airfix, doesn't it?
I'd check, yeah, because
I didn't realise they had an aerial, to be honest. I mean, I'm no expert, but
No, me neither.
well, why don't you look at yours, Andy? Because you've got bloody one in front of you on the desk.
And it's here, literally in front of me. And it's
Yeah,
not on
there you go.
It's not,
Hold on,
that's why
hold
I'm
on.
saying it, 'cause
Let
it's
me
not
bring
on
up
my
Andy.
instructions.
Hold on. There you go. Hold that up again. How's it go?
That's the colour chart, but there's no aerial. There's no aerial on the instructions in my Hobby Boss one, which has made me why I questioned it. That is an A1 because it's got the 4 gun barrels on the front, whereas I'm building an A2, which is the later version. But I don't know.
Oh no, we're down this Luftwaffe.
I said our Luftwaffe, yeah, Luftwaffe experts AWOL, isn't he?
Yeah, again, so he's dodged a tornado and now he's dodged some Luftwaffe questions. He's not having another night off if we're doing this.
I was going to say, yeah,
Stop.
he's not allowed time off. I don't know. He's managed to do this one.
Well,
I
we're
would do a
really
bit
up.
of research on that before you put any glue near that canopy.
And his second question before Phil gets onto his book, I've attached the front to the engines, but there is a small mark that I need to weather away. I was going to use little Starship filth and some Abteilung fast dry thinners, but I have a nagging feeling that you have said that in the past not to put over AK extremes. This will become even more of an issue when I wash inside the fortress.
Yeah, so basically what we talk about is that be careful if you're using AK extreme metals because they're enamel based. If you put over an enamel wash and you're rubbing around with it, you will eat and it will basically destroy the metal finish. So that's what we're saying with that one. So you can use it neat. So if you want to use like a weathering thing, because you're saying about there's a small mark on the front of where the engines are. I assume that's where your cocktail stick's pointing to. Very good.
Yeah.
You can use the oil paint neat. So put it on it and then just buff it off and it will go either into the recesses and it'll be no problem at all, and it will just lightly weather as well. But don't use a thinned version of. So just if you watch the videos, you see I use them either neat or thinned. So when I use them neat, I just literally take a bit on the brush, just rub it in that light area where you want to weather, and then you sort of blend and it gives a nice weathered effect. But I wouldn't go in there definitely with a wash version of it, because what will happen is it will blister, and then if you rub it, you'll take it clean off the, down to the primer. So you do have to be careful when you're using extremes.
There's a bloke that's got a range of like clay-based washes in there, which
Yes,
boy knows. I've been using them lately, and they're not bad. To be
right,
fair.
Brilliant.
Or if you overcoat your enamel paint, as in your AK at the moment, AK Extreme Metal at the moment, with a acrylic-based varnish, as long as you're careful, then you should be alright to go over the top of it.
I've got an argument here. I'm sorry, but if that AK stuff's dry, you can't reactivate it. If it's fully cured, you can't reactivate it, and you can't with any paint. Or
I
very
can still
rarely.
wipe the stuff. I can still wipe the stuff off my Panther.
Yeah, but
after
you've
about
got a
3
bad
years.
batch. That batch is crap. It's a bad batch. But if you've left it long enough, I'm not saying you can like flood it with odorless thinner, but it takes something to react because it's an hybrid. It's not a pure enamel, is it?
No, it is a hybrid. It's not a pure enamel. No.
So if it's fully cured, I'm sure as hell on AK's demos they've put like enamel washers on it and done what they do because that's what they sell.
Yeah.
The thing is, with AK and knowing the issues they have with some of their paint, I'd be very wary of even if it had been drying for 2 months, I'd be wary of putting anything enamel near it.
You're just a skip.
Or alternatively, grab a buster.
Yeah.
Have a try first.
Have a try first.
Let's be honest. Just use Phil's. Just use the Flory.
Just use clay wash. You have no problem.
It's just safest way.
As for books, oh, wrong one. There you go. That's the one I highly recommend for F-15s. If I just go full screen a sec. Okay, this is Jake. Bit of a mate of mine, I have to say. Shameless plug. But anyway, he does a fantastic range of books. The Exposed series by Read Air Publications. Again, don't buy them off of bloody Amazon because they're like £100 a pop. But if you buy them directly from Read Air, as you can see, they do. This is the upgraded one actually, because I lent this one out to a member and then never got it back. So I bought another one. And as you can see, this is your definitive one on eagles. So this does the C version and obviously the mud hen as well, which is the nice thing, because the original one was just the C version. But this one does all the versions of the actual eagle, strike eagle. And again, literally every single panel he's photographed and gone right the way through, as including, shameless thing, because obviously Jake had a spell. He's actually a pilot, and he had a spell over in Japan, so we got some great shots of the Japanese ones as well, and all the other ones right the way through. And as you can see, it's literally your definitive go-to. Anything on an eagle, that's where you want to go. And to be honest, this is my go-to book, because obviously it's all the weaponry, everything, literally. Okay, literally just like that. So that's the one on the eagle, but also he does a load of other ones. So he does one on F-16s, which I've used many times. This book's the spine to add it. It's been open for every F-16 I've ever done. And also the great one is the one that we used when we did the FA10 build. So when we did the Warthog build, we used this one. This was our go-to reference book right the way through again. So, but yes, highly recommend them. So yes, read Air Publications, they're through. But you got the Modern Eagle Guide, 2nd edition, this one is. So it's the F-15 Exposed series. Very nice indeed. Highly recommend it. Great coffee table one as well, to be honest.
So you could find an F-15 to build.
Eh? Yeah, well, hopefully when one might turn up. You never know, I might build one. Okay, Lynn says, hi Phil, I've got a question that's probably silly. No such thing as silly questions. But I'd like to know how you do things like this. I'm working on a Revell 132nd Spitfire Mark II, and I need to mask and assemble the canopy as it's an addition to the front of the cam. Oh, is this the armour glass one? Have we already had this?
That one.
Oh, right, okay. Right, we've already done that. Scrap that. Okay, Chris is following up really with the AK question, I think, here. So he says, hi Phil and team, I have a question about using different tapes for masking over AK extreme metal paints. And everyone's best suggestion for this. I'd like to ask this especially for Phil, as he'll be doing it on his B17 metal paint soon. I've had issues with Tamiya tape on the different panel colours on the past model, as I've done with AK Extreme Metals, with weeks worth of drying. When I mask off the areas I need for colour variation, the Tamiya tape leaves behind a sticky residue on the model, or sometimes marring the paint when I peel off the layer. I've tried detacking on my hands and on my pants. I think he means trousers. And still, don't model in your pants. And still does it anyway. Is there any other brand of tape that you know that won't do this? Very frustrating. Part of the miles, right? Okay. This is one of those ones where, again, it may seem silly, but go back and have a look at some of the ones. I did it all over the Bear Bomber, Tu-95 Bear. You know, when I did that build of it, that was masked fully everywhere, because we had leading edges were different, we had all the underside was different, and I just masked right over the top. Yes, I do detack. You do need to detack to take a little bit of bite out of it. But again, like Matt was saying, once the paint has gone down and totally dried, you'll be absolutely fine. So you might have to give it a whirl. And when I do this little lady, which I might get round on Monday, more likely going to be Tuesday, to be honest, you know, this will be the thing. This will just get an entire coat of polished aluminium to start with. Then we'll mask off and pick out all the areas. So we've got various panels and hatches and obviously control surfaces and things like that, which we'll pick out in other colours. Also, the big thing is about not leaving the tape on too long. So when I spray, you know, let's assume we're going to do the control surface down the back here. We're going to do this aileron. I'll mask it, I'll spray it, and then I'll unmask it straight away. I won't leave the tape on there for any more than 10 minutes, more than I need to. Okay, so it's not like it's left on there for a considerable amount of time. The other thing as well is I know that people mask an area, then they hold on to it. that's bad, because the heat from your hand will soften the paint underneath sometimes, and then you can end up with all types of problems as well. So tape, minimum amount of time, it's just on there, you lift it off, you go around. And to be honest, I tend to be, because I'm cheap, I use the same bit of tape many times until it literally will not stick anymore. So I might use the same piece of tape, and I usually have them all down here, and I'll just take them off, put them down, then we take them off, we put them back on, we spray that area, we take them off, put them back, so forth and so on, until physically they just curl up and won't stick. Then they get a new bit, and that's how I tend to do it. But I've never really had a problem like a lot of people have about leaving tape marks behind and stuff like that. I used to have that problem, to be honest, with Alclad. That was almost my nemesis with Alclad, but I never had it with AK Extreme Metals, really.
I don't think I have, to be honest. I'm trying to think back. Obviously,
I've never had an issue with Tamiya tape leaving residue on anything, to be honest.
I have on Guns Aqueous, but that's because when we're using the old types of thinners, and it's like used to sink into it, because it didn't dry properly. But
at least tape marks. But the tape marks is because the paint's not cured.
Yeah.
Because the adhesive of the tape, eats into the thing. But he said, going back to that, he's left that a week before he masked over it. So that should be more than cured.
Absolutely,
so, again, is that a paint problem?
Is that, absolutely. The thing is, with metallics and obviously metallizers, sometimes you always get that thing where you tape over it and then you unmask it and you look at the tape and you've got that silver film to it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's taken off that edge, and I've had that before, and what I tend to do is I use the white polisher and literally just give it a buff and rebuff that surface, and it tends to disappear. So might be another option to do as well. Try that, just buff it up again, because I think what it does is that because of its nature, it's very sort of almost flat, as funny as it sounds, and sometimes it can lift that top little flat layer off, as it's sat there, because it's quite fragile stuff, as we all know. They can be a little bit, on the sort of anti side. But I always used to have that trouble, to be honest, with Alclads, and that's why I moved away from Alclads. So, but I've never really had it with it. But say, if you have a look at the Bear, I masked that thing right up to get underneath that with all the different shades we did on it, and never really had a problem with it.
It's handy you got your white polisher out for the next question.
Have I? Okay, what's the best for taking scratches out of bare plastic before priming and sanding? Mr. Surfacer, etc., or will the primer cover it? Again, you'll see it on, or you have seen it. I think it was up on Friday's B17. I went round and polished the plastic before the primer went on, to get rid of all the scratches, because obviously where we'd sanded up the nose because of that seam, and then around the back and things like that, and all the areas, we just give it a quick polish over as well, and I just find that's an easy way. Primer will get rid of micro scratches, but if you've got anything too deep, it won't, not unless you're using like a polyurethane. Those tend to cover big scratches, but then you've got other problems with that because it tends to sink into your detail as well. But yeah, I think it's good practice. And these days, what I've been doing, to be honest with you, and to say I've done it on this one and I've done it on the other one, is that I've polished up all the plastic areas first, but then I've also keyed them in before I put the primer on, because I think that's the trouble I've been having with peeling. The plastic's so shiny, it's not got a proper grip to it, so I've been keying it a little bit, as I call it. So I've just been using an old sponge, which is this little guy, who's got no bite in it whatsoever anymore. But it's great for doing that type of work. It feels almost like a polisher. It feels like probably the same grit as that is now. But I just give it a rub over and it dulls it all down. I go over it quick with my little microfiber cloth to get all the dust off and all the rest of it, and then primed it, and I haven't had a problem. And that took beautifully, to be honest, and it's lovely and smooth. So, yes.
Yeah. Good call.
Yes. Okay, what would your advice be on the best way to approach painting and weathering Spitfire exhausts with the potted rust look, but still with the same realism as this? Do you know what? I thought this actually was a model when I first saw it. I thought that to start with, and I thought that was a radio controlled one because it looks so clean,
Yeah, do you know when you see them in real life? They're not a potted rust, are they?
No.
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 The hues of brown and metallic,
Yeah.
sort of like
It's-
metallic in it, but it's not. They're never sort of like rusty.
Yeah, it's like a metallic brown, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no rust on exhaust
Yeah.
like that at all. I
It
know
just,
it
it,
look
it'd
at
burn
it.
off. It,
Yeah. It's just the hue of the metal.
yeah.
Burnt metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
To be honest,
so-
the AK Extreme Metals do that quite nice colour. I quite like it. They actually call it burnt metal.
Yeah.
And I've got one here, and it's got like a gold fleck into it. I just stick the camera on me. I know it's not mixing brilliantly well, but yeah, it's got like this gold fleck in it, and it literally should stir it. I know, but there you go. But yeah, it's got. You see, you can't really see it through the glass, but it's very, very dark. But actually, when you spray it, it's almost like a metallic brown. But that's their burnt metal, and I quite like that colour.
Can I just say, Tamiya XF84 Dark Iron is a nice browny colour
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
Metallic. He's a good exhaust colour.
Yeah. Then you could maybe dry brush it with a bit of lighter metal just to bring out some edges and things on it. But
The thing is, on an exhaust, really, you can use light grey.
Hmm.
yeah,
They have that light grey tinge to them as well.
Yeah.
Just look at references, really. If you can get some good colour references and go off that. But yeah, it is a bit odd when people doing rusty because they're not all of it. It's just a burnt. It's just a burnt metal colour, really.
What
Yeah,
I've been doing a lot lately is like spraying a base colour,
Yeah,
then getting like your burnt metal colours and that, and very fine, misty,
yeah.
not like a solid coat over it, but like gradually building up the effect.
So I'd probably start with a darkish brown, like an XF10 is it or something like that.
yeah.
Is the base colour, and so then build it up from there with burnt colours and metallics, and just make it. Yeah.
I'd go for a dark bluey grey steel colour and then weather it from that. So that's how I do it. And it's the way I do it for armour as well. Like
Yeah, you could use brown and greys, and then sometimes as well, what I've done is just use browns and greys, and then sort of give it a dry brush with the that's like the Mr. Hobby buffable brush,
yeah.
and I never really actually clean it, and then just dry brush with it, and you just catch the edges in that to give that sort of metallic-y sheen. That's quite a good way of doing it.
So yeah, so stick away from rust, metallic brown. The future.
What Paul said, Vallejo dark rust is a good colour because that's like a browny colour rather than being a.
Yeah. You don't want the orange rust.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
That's what to avoid, isn't it?
Okay, so we just whipped through a few of these. Clive says, thanks to Matt and Andy at PM, I received his replacement Tamiya tape dispenser yesterday.
Good.
My pleasure.
Who forgot it was a Tamiya tape dispenser one and sent him a refill, was it?
Oh, you seem to do that a lot, Mr. Ball.
Oh, what? I was going to say, is this
I'm gonna
deja
remove
vu?
Hey, I'm gonna
There's my 18mm Tamiya tape with dispenser.
well, you don't need a dispenser.
Man of your talents, wasted. Okay, he said he had one of those Humbrol airbrushes years ago. Finest it would do was speckled splodge, about a 1-inch diameter. Absolutely. He says he's got the Novo Frog Martin Baltimore.
Yeah.
So it says that might be a build for giggles. I would definitely do it. I'm got into these old kits. Last build I was 10 in 1982. Crikey. And there we go. Paul's put a picture. Is yours blue colour, Matt? Is that
No.
yours? Is yours grey? Oh, yours look grey. I thought, but perhaps you a blue version.
Oh no, it's blue.
Oh, it is blue.
Mine's a turquoisey colour.
Oh,
Oh.
there you go.
Yeah, it is the same sort of thing.
Yeah, same one, isn't it? Yeah.
Filthy like, but yeah.
There you
Yep.
go, you see. Very good. So you say, this is my single action Badger 250. My God. I've never used as the hose connector is the wrong size for my compressor. Look at the price on eBay. They want nearly £20. I wouldn't give him a fiver for it. There you go. It's probably nostalgia, isn't it? It's what they call an external mix one. It just blows air and causes a vacuum, isn't it, over the actual nozzle bit here, and then just spats it out. So there's no needle. It just pushes air across here and then just hoovers it out basically and shoves it over your model. Fun times.
You could use it for priming, could you?
No, use it for paint your fence, isn't it? Phil, what silver colour are you going to be doing your B17? I'll be using polished aluminium. Don't forget, my bird is going to be, the Flory girl, as she is known, is going to be like this. So it's going to be highly, highly polished. So that's my plan, is she's going to look like this, you see. So it's going to be flat in certain areas, and I'm going to weather over the anti-reflection areas, over the engines and stuff, but the actual fuselage and the main bits is all going to be highly, highly polished. So that's the plan with that one. And Aero Smudge, crikey, you have to change your name. Hi guys, firstly many thanks for the live shows, they've been great. I normally build 143, is that even a scale? F1 models from, is that Tamaro or BBR? Do you know what? Can you tell I have no idea about this manufacturer? But fancy doing something different. I have a Revel Imperial Shuttle Tidarium and Slave One from Bandai. Any advice on how to paint and weather and chip them? To be honest with you, there's loads of videos up there. I've done it. A lot of them are free. You can see my Tidarium shuttle I did, because I've done that one as well. I did the bigger one. It was actually the kids' toy one, which I converted. Did that one. That's on a free to view, I think, on YouTube still. But as I say, we've done Bandai one as well. If you have a look around the site, you'll see that. You'll see, obviously, I've done Millennium Falcons now in all the scales. So we've done all of those ones and everything. So your best way is to have a look at that. Only advice is, as I say, to use an off-white. Go and have a look at my the Millennium Falcon was the last one I did. I only did it a couple of months ago, the big Bandai one. I did the Master Grade one. And we talk in there about obviously not using white, obviously, and how to do the weathering it and the bits and pieces. But again, it's a bit too much of a long question to do on today's show. But have a look at those and you'll see tons and tons about it. But I've done loads and loads of them. You'll see them all in there. Terry says, hi Phil and team, I'm nearing then to an Airfix 172nd Mustang, but have a problem with the aerial behind the canopy, which is unusable. Any ideas on the best way to replace this? Well, because it's actually, I'm just thinking out loud here, the Mustang one's like a blade, isn't it? It's not like a rod. So personally, I'd probably make one out of plasticard if that's the way you want to go. So I would literally, if you've got some like 1/2 mil plasticard, template it perhaps off the original, and then you go bigger and then sand it to the right scale, and then obviously round off the front and then blade the back end of it, and just by sanding it, and then I would use that, which is normally what I do when I break them and lose them. To be honest with you, so I usually replace ones. I think you'll find photo etch will be too thin, because it, but there again, that could be an option, but depends if you want to, sand photo etch into shape as well, because you can use offcuts of photo etch to make antennas and various things. Always keep the frames and the screwy bits from it, and you can sand those into shape and do it that way. But personally, I think I'll probably just use a piece of, you say 1/4 inch in 1/72 scale plasticard, but you can put the plasticard on a surface, and then if you've got, wherever mine is, here it is, like a sanding one, and then put a bit of tack on your finger, put the said item, the plastic card, and then just thin it and go thinner with it over a sanding stick, or you've got a board, do it over a board to thin the height of it out, and then do it that way. Any ideas?
I'd be tempted to use stretch sprue.
Right.
And do you know why you get it? You can get it to taper as it tapers, like that. While you still got it in one piece, use a sanding sponge or a sanding stick to sort of flatten the both sides. Yeah. Obviously, you still got the rounded front and back to set it down to thickness. And then when you got it down to how you want it, then cut it down to length. Obviously, from your long piece of stretch sprue, and then glue it in. Because it's only going to be
You're talking very, very small, isn't it?
Yeah.
That type of size.
10-second scale.
So
Why is it unusable then? Is it over scale or
I was
what?
going to say, if it's over scale, I would just thin it down. If you find it's too chunky, I'd just thin it. And then say, if you get some tack, white tack as I use, and then you stick the part to it, and you can actually sand over the board as well and take it down, because this will just roll up and move out the way of it, but you can still go right the way down onto it. And that's normally how I do it, to be honest. You can get like double-sided tape as well and put it onto another sander and just do that and just take it down in height.
Or shameless plug, because we sell them.
Or
scrape
you
it down,
could
You
use
know, just to grab me knife, me scraper knife, and say
and just scrape it down as well.
And do it on the sprue,
Yes.
where it's solid. So,
Unless it's snapped and it's...
yeah, I don't know, obviously, but many ways.
That's always right. Okay, last couple of questions then. Hi all, enjoying the banter. However, I'm looking to build the Swiss F-18A Hornet in 1/32. Do you know if the current A plus has the parts to go back to an A, or is the kinetic any good? Okay, so I don't think it's even available anymore. The original the 32nd scale kinetic Hornet is the Academy one anyway. If you can get hold of it, get that kit, because that's got all the different versions in one box. So you can go back to an A to a C, and you can do it right out of it. If you can't, if you have got, and I've got one down there, an A plus kit, you can easily back that to an A. The trouble you've got if you want to go A to C, because C has different tails, and it's got strengthener and stiffener plates in it and lumps and bumps all over the tail, which are a little bit more in depth. But you can go from an A plus back to an A quite easily. It's just going from a C to an A is a little bit more in depth, because they've got different vents on the nose and stuff like that. If you get it a bit thingy.
An A plus is a US Marine Corps FA-18, the Academy one in 32nd.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
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 I can get that kit in.
Yeah, I've got one here as well, because I've got this kit, because funny enough, we were talking about it the other day, they've just re-released it again, haven't they? And I've got the original box of it down there in the Red Devils markings, which I've always said I'd love to do one day, get around to doing it, but it's too big these days. But yeah, so you could do it that way, be no problem at all to take it back to being a Swiss one. So yes, I would do that. And to be honest, it's a great kit as well, but the Academy one is the kinetic one, it's the same kit. It's just that the kinetic one is quite handy because it's got all the stuff in it. So you can do it that way.
That's long gone, I think, the kinetic.
Yeah, I think that was just a limited one they did.
Yeah, it's hard enough to be honest to get the Academy one. So can you do this Academy one then as a Spanish one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do pretty much, you could do the Malaysian one as well and everything, so yeah. You can do the lot. Okay, Michael says, hi guys, hi Phil, a few years ago I was hoping to take a holiday, as you would say, to the UK with hopes to being able to find a moment could come down and see your studio. Unfortunately, with all that's going on in the world nowadays, a trip is not happening. Just wanted to say that I've been watching Escape to the Country on the TV here in the US, and got to see the land of Devon, and it's a gorgeous place. It is. It has renewed my desire to come and visit one day. It'd be great to see. Absolutely, of course. You know, like I've always said with the members, if you're ever passing, I know a lot of you go to Cornwall and holiday, trust me, you've got to drive past. We used to have this giant landmark you would see, but John saw today it's not there anymore. As I say, I've been showing on camera. There's no point showing you it now because it's not there. But we used to have this, we used to call it NASA. It looked like this huge big factory right next to us. And it's gone now. It's been demolished. And it's really weird and eerie because it's just not there. I look out the window and I can see the hills. It's like, you know, have you ever seen them before? So it's very nice.
If you
Come down over the
see
hill,
where Matt lives,
strange.
Yes.
If you want to see where Matt lives, watch All Creatures Great and Small.
That's it. James Herriot country.
Hold on a minute, that's wrong part of Yorkshire. That's West Yorkshire. I'm in South Yorkshire.
It's still Yorkshire.
You're more looking at the full Monty.
Yeah,
That's it.
No, that's Sheffield.
full Monty, yeah.
That's Sheffield, but it's near enough. It's not too far away.
Okay, but no, it is a lovely part of the country down here, I must admit. Very blessed. Okay, Dave says, hi all, could you please let me know your thoughts on life colour acrylics? As I've seen a great article that has got my interest in them. Off you go, Matt.
I like them. I'm sorry.
I know, that's why I said you.
I like them. And I can get them to spray, which is a good point. But the brush, fantastic. They're absolutely mint for brushing. But I've heard, obviously, there's problems with them, like airbrushing them and the clog, and because they are a proper, pure acrylic. But to be honest, if you use your own thinners and a bit of flow improver, I've had no hassle with them at all. They're all right. They're fine, and they're just some really nice colours as well. So, because I've nicked yours as well, haven't I? I think yours.
Matt's, because to be honest, you guys might know this. There's a backstory to this. Is that Life Colour were trying to get my interest with them for a long time, and they used to send me everything, literally all the paints. I've got all the thinners, I've got the cleaners, the enhancers, I've got everything. But I'd be buggered if I could get it to work. It just wouldn't work for me. And it's like we've said with a lot of this thing, what might not work for me might work for you, and what works for you might not work for me. It's one of those things, and I just couldn't get it to work. So anyway, Matt's been down, he's been making off with me Life Colour sets. But again, Matt gets on really well, he absolutely loves them. I just find them a nightmare to use. I just can't get them to work. You know, it may be one of those things, I might go back now and try and have another go with them, and they might start working again. But at the time of my style of painting back then, I used to spray at very high air pressure. That might make a difference, I don't know. So yeah, difficult ones with that one.
To Phil's left, at the end of his desk, he's got a cabinet. Yeah, and in that cabinet, he's got like lots of spare paints. And last time we were there, Matt was going through it and says, "I'll have that. I'll have that.
You don't use this. You don't use this. You don't use this."
But you know, with the Life Colour paints, you know the Sherman I've just finished. The base colour sand is Israeli, one of the Israeli, and I use Life Colour for that colour. The green's the Attacker blue line.
Yeah. And
the black outline in what I brush painted was obviously the set that I'd used, to be honest, to paint me truck.
Yeah.
What I did on the little base. That's like the khaki green or whatever you want to call it. But the actual base colour is an IDF colour from Life Colour. So, and it was fine. It was really nice.
I was nearly getting the train home because there wasn't enough room in his car to come
fit it in.
And he's got BMW 5 Series estates, so.
Anyway, last question is from Martin Hill. He says, "Hi guys, great show. What is the best hybrid acrylic silver for the ICM Gladiator?" Well, I can't say that one, but what I will say is this is the Gladiator that I did, and the guys can vouch for me. This is the bit where they say no, but I did the LP7, which is the Tamiya lacquer, I know silver, but I think this is probably the best, what I call, you know, metallic silver, not a metallizer silver, but a metallic silver out there, because it's got a beautiful hue to it. It's got a really nice look to it in general, and it just looks like it's a painted silver versus being a metallic silver.
Yeah, I say the photos don't do it justice, do they? It looks cracking.
Thank you, Andy.
LP11, that's what you want.
LP11. I know it's a lacquer one, and you're saying about an acrylic, but honestly, I would have to say that's where, if I was doing anything at all now, and I want a sort of painted silver, that type of look, tops of like Mustang wings where they've been puttied and painted, that's where I'd go. Because on photos, it shows it's being just silver, but the reality is when you look at it, it's got a very nice metallic hue to it. And it looks nice. It reflects light really, really well, and it's got a good scale effect, which is strange because Tamiya acrylics are awful, but they're nice. But to be honest with you, we were saying the other day, I use these. This is LP48, which is the other one. So again, I would say it's more on the line of let's say metallic rather than metallizer paints. But this is what I would call, if you wanted a high shine look, if you wanted a duller sort of, you know, painted look, sort of aluminium, dope linen type colour, things like that, I would use LP11. But anything shiny, I would definitely use this stuff because it's really, really nice, no problem at all. No good for really what I want to do with the B17, but I use these colours for doing the panel works, which will be duller. That's the plan with that one. So yes. Just a quick one in there. Why is there no Academy F18C 130 seconds out at the moment? It's just been released, isn't it, Matt? And it just come back out.
No, just
The A plus. I
Yeah,
thought it was
not
that a
the
few
C.
weeks ago.
No, that was the A plus.
Yeah, the A plus is out. C's no, the C isn't at the moment, but the A plus is back out at the moment.
I tell you, I'd like to know what's going off with Academy, to be honest, in their releases, or whoever's importing it over here, or why they're really hard to get hold of.
Yeah.
Because when the Suffer was back, and it was back for like a real brief period, it's not like you can get a run of them. And like releases are coming in really sporadic. You know, like the helicopter that came out, the 35th one, that's really nice. It's really just the general catalogue of Academy is hard to get hold of.
But to be honest, we're finding that with a few manufacturers, isn't it? For some reason, it's just like, why is it hard to get hold of manufacturers? One thing we'll say, though, because we have got them coming in as well, is that the Raptors are back out by Academy, aren't they? The F22,
yeah.
which I think is far superior to the Hasegawa one. The Hasegawa one, the service details well over the top. But the Academy one, I think, is quite nice, and that kit's back out. I built that years ago, over 10 years ago now, when it first came out, and it's actually a really nice kit.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Well, yeah, they're coming in dribs and drabs rather than a full sort of restock of the rate or whatever. It's like bits and bobs that are coming in all the time. It's just, I don't know, a bit bizarre, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Very good.
David sent me a PM with a Squadron Signal page out of a book showing the 262s with aerials on.
Oh.
Oh.
Looks like I might be putting an aerial on mine.
Oh, there you go. Nightmare. Right, okay, there we go again, guys. We'll call it quits for tonight. We've gone slightly over. Better see the other half before she goes to bed, because she's back at work at 6 in the morning. So yes, but no, lovely evening chat with everyone. No one did any modelling, so there you go. That's always a good sign. Means we were talking too much and drinking too much. But yes, lovely to have it. So tomorrow, obviously, we're not doing anything with the XP and Sunday, but Monday you've got the next part up of the, which one's the next up? Is the B17 went up Friday, so you've got the next part of the VC10, which roughly gets you to about where it is right now. Okay, so you're catching up with me, and then obviously throughout the week I'll be getting on with the B17, moving through. The next part of the B17 will be up on Friday. I've got those other reviews to you do as well at some point next week as well. I'm going to be popping up and seeing Matt at the PM store as well, so no doubt I'll take a camera with me and we'll vlog it, have a giggle and stuff like that. And then obviously you'll be back with you for Tuesday's Q&A's in the afternoon, and then obviously me and Matt will be back with you on the Wednesday for the PM show, back with the guys again on Thursday night as well for another live show, Friday catch up, and then next Saturday I'm having off because I need to have a Saturday night off to spend it with the other half. So you're on your own.
Be a quiet evening.
It'd be a quiet evening. So yes, just to let you know foremost. So there we go. But thank you very much for joining us this evening, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Remember, stay safe, happy modelling, and take care. And until next week, everybody, we'll see you soon. Wave goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Cheers.